Sit back and relax while you listen to Train Kickers Podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, we're going to continue going through the legions for 30k, and we're going to go through the Iron Warriors. Before we get to that, though, we do about a 20-minute discussion on Kabandha. Dan has a demon army. He was very excited about the rules release for that. Takes about 20 minutes. We do have the timestamps on everything, so if you're more here for the Iron Warriors, just take a look at the timestamps. You can see exactly where that begins. As always, I'd like to put this in the beginning now instead. I do want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on any podcatcher. If you do, reviews there really help us out a lot. We're also available on YouTube. Any likes, subscribes, all that kind of stuff really does help us out. And now, on to the show. All right, so we are going to be continuing this week our discussion on the various legions for Horus Heresy, but we thought we'd do a short derivation first because there was some interest in talking about what's his actual name?
Kabandha.
Kabandha? Okay.
Yes, Kabandha.
All right.
Ka-apostrophe-bandha.
All right. So why don't you tell me about this demony boy here?
Yes. Yeah, so they released Kabandha's 30k rules, which does one of two things. It gives us kind of like a 40k insight, because he's going to have 40k rules, and it gives us a preview into what demons can do, which is pretty awesome. For those who don't know, Kabandha is another general from Khorne, but he's the smart one, whereas Skarbrand decided to challenge Khorne to a duel and got his wings ripped to shreds because of it, and then he got banished to another universe as well. And basically, Kabandha's the smart, angry general, and he has a very big tiff with the Blood Angels. He's one of the big reasons why the Blood Angels are the way that they are. In fact, side note, I know I'm going too much into Fluff, but one of my favorite side notes is that when High Fleet, was it Leviathan? Oh my god, hold on.
It was Leviathan.
It was when High Fleet Leviathan was basically going to kill Baal and wipe the Blood Angels from existence. Khorne and Kabandha came down and went like, hold on. We want them as our playthings. And they actually fought with not fought with the Blood Angels, but they actually killed the Tyrant swarm before the Blood Angels could even mount a counter attack, which is fucking hilarious. I think it's one of the biggest fuck yous. How do you go? What do you tell the Grey Knights? Yeah, so Khorne helped us, but I don't think we wanted his help. That's great. Anyway. So, let's talk about Kabandha's rules a little bit. He is movement 8. He does have wings. We'll talk about that. So, he's movement 8, weapon skill 8. So, he's melee boy. Ballistic skill 5, strength 8, toughness 8, wounds 8, initiative 6, attack 7, leadership 10, and a 3+ save, all for 550 points. I should point out he's a demon. And demons get the special rule that on turns 1 to 2, they're +1 strength and toughness. On turns 3 and 4, demons are nil, so they're normal strength and toughness. And then on turns 5 and 6, they're -1 toughness. Or sorry, I think it's turn 5 -1 and turn 6 -2. Someone, Dave or Steve, can correct me as I
don't know the demon rules. Haven't released them.
It's right there. No, it's in the main rulebook.
It's in the main rulebook.
Oh,
it's in the main rulebook. I always forget if it's
5 and 6 is -1. Turn 7 is a -2.
7 is -2. God, okay. I was close.
Nope.
And so he's got two weapons: his ornaments and his demonic wings, which is great. And then he's got a whole plethora of special rules. He's got adamantium will, which is a 3+, which makes sense. He's Khorne. He's got ethereal invulnerability, 4+. Eternal rivalry, we'll talk about that in a second. Hammer of Wrath, D3. Hatred for Sanguinius. It will not die, 5+. Miasma of Rage, Scythe of Hatred. He's a traitor. Herald of Bloodshed, and a Skull Keeper, which is a warlord trait. So he if he's chosen as the warlord, he automatically has a Skullkeeper warlord trait, which basically says that Kabandha and any unit with the demon unit type and at least one model within 6 inches of Kabandha may add D3 to the total number of successful wounds caused for purposes of resolving which side has won a combat. This does not stack with other rules that increase the assault result. In addition, you get an additional reaction in the movement phase. So let's talk about this first. I like it. This helps whether you're losing or winning, by the way. But I like this. I don't know about you guys.
He's a 550-point model. His abilities are going to be good.
Yeah.
It is not surprising that he has a very good.
I should point out, by the way, demons, I'm not sure if they'll keep this with the new rules, obviously, but demons they weren't fearless, but if they lost combat, essentially they took wounds that they couldn't save equal to the amount that they lost by, right? So it was and they took also Perils of the Warp, which is really bad. So let's say you lost combat, adding a D3 can help nullify the effect of losing a combat, which is really good.
So they had old school fearless. Because old school fearless used to be you would take wounds.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Really? Oh, I don't.
That's what it was in 40K. If you were fearless,
you
lost wounds.
Okay, so yeah, they had old school fearless, which this is good because let's say I lost combat by 2, right? And I rolled a 2. They're good. They're tied. I don't lose anyone, which is good. It's good. It's not bad. Steve, before I move on.
No, it's not bad at all.
Just a
D3 could be a very nice swing because I'll put it this way. In my Space Marine list, I'm always taking a Vexilla on every squad because that +1 makes all the difference. I have 1 combats because of the +1.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially +3 is a big fucking deal.
Yeah. And it's 6, it's a bubble, which is nice. The Ethereal Invulnerability is a 4+ invulnerable save. I mean, easy. So his weapons, this is the big one. So the weapons come in 2 profiles. He's got a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, obviously because he's got a whip and an axe. The ranged weapon is 6 inches, strength 6, AP 2, assault 7, which is okay.
That's one of the best guns in the game. Aside from the range. It's one of the best guns in the game.
But he gets within 6, he's whipping the shit out of something. Fuck. And his axe is melee, user +4. So again, remember this can be modified by whether it's turn 1, 2, 3. So it's either could be strength 13, 12, 11, or 10. Did I do that right? No.
10.
Yes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
13, 12, 11, 10. So depending on which is all still good variants, by the way. AP2, melee, two-handed, and sunder. So it's going to really hurt whatever the hell it hurts. I mean, he hurts in close combat and at close range. I mean, there's really nothing much more to say. Demonic
There is
Wing.
more to say.
Oh, go ahead.
Skip down to the Scythe of Hatred.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get to that yet.
It's melee attack, so it makes sense.
So let's skip to it. So the reason there's nothing more to say, and then I meant to he's got one more special rule called the Scythe of Hatred. At the end of any assault phase, after the results of any combats have been worked out and sweeping advances and consolidation's been completed, Kabandha can make a special Scythe of Hatred attack. To resolve this attack, the controlling player places a Hellstorm template with the narrow end of... Hellstorm is the big flamer, I believe, yes.
It's a flamer that ends in a 5-inch blast.
Yes. So you put the narrow end in contact with Kabandha's base. Any unit with models underneath the template suffer the number of automatic strength 6 AP dash hits equal to the number of unsaved wounds caused by melee attacks made by Kabandha during the preceding assault phase, which is pretty fucking cool. Because if he's got 8 attacks, let's say he kills, 8 people?
He's 7 attacks.
Let's say, screw it, with no invulnerable saves. That's 8 strength 6 AP dash hits on everyone underneath the Hellstorm template, which is not bad.
It gets better, Dan. If he's fighting a veteran squad, it's unsaved wounds caused, which means each wound lost to instant death, which is 2 per model.
Well, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's by wounds, not models.
Yep.
So wait,
this is the this is probably the most anime or this is okay. Question: Have you remember the old Dawn of War games, right?
Yeah.
Tell me this is not ripped directly from those games.
Yes, absolutely. I'm thinking to myself, if he fucking wipes just 5 Justerian, that's 15 strength 6 hits. Okay, that's great.
I love him.
I did not put 2 and 2 together. Oh my goodness. The Lord have mercy on my soul. Demonic wings are demonic wings. What do? They make them 14, and it's basically a jump pack.
Yeah, it's a jump pack, but in particular it's 14.
Yeah. Eternal Rivalry. So if an enemy includes Sanguinius, the following secondary objective comes into effect. basically, if Sanguinius is removed as a casualty while fighting in a challenge against Kabandha, Kabandha controlling player scores 2 victory points. This is in addition to any points scored for Slay the Warlord. However, if Kabandha is removed as a casualty while he's fighting in a challenge against Sanguinius, the Demon of the Runestorm player loses 1 victory point. So just did more for fluff. Doesn't literally affect anything unless Sanguinius is on the table. So it's kind of those, oh, this is cool. And then Miasma of Rage. Now, what's really cool about this, for those who don't play demons, like Dave and I guess Steve, Miasma of Rage used
like literally almost everyone listening.
Well, no, there are some demon players in 30K that are waiting. Miasma of Rage was actually an original ability that they used to be able to take from the original 1.0. And what's really, really cool about this is this actually changed pretty well. So let's talk about this. So Kabandha with any models with Kabandha and any models with the Rage X or Rampage X special rules within 12 inches increase the value of those rules by 1. So for example, if you have Rampage D3, it becomes Rampage D3 plus 1. If you have Rage 2, it becomes Rage 3. Note that this rule affects the Rampage D3 granted by the Crimson Fury Etheric Dominion. And this is what I wanted to talk about because this is a very big hint into what demons are going to do. So Crimson Fury was basically the Khorne area of Dominion. And what Crimson Fury used to do was it used to grant Fury to infantry, and cavalry used to gain Hammer of Wrath. What it seems to now do is, I think, according to this, it says granted by the Crimson Fury Etheric Dominion. Apparently now that if you're Crimson Fury, your models get Rampage instead of Fury, which is an interesting change in my opinion. I'm not sure how I fall on this.
Well, it's tough to say for sure because we don't know the rest of it. So
Exactly.
you'd be coming at it from a very ill-informed
spot.
So
let's say take a 10-man unit, right? They used to have Rage 2, so that would, or they used to have Rage, which is plus 2 attacks. So a 10-man unit charging would get 30 attacks, right? Here, if a 10-man unit's charging a 20-man unit, the average on a D3 is a 2, right? You're going to get 3 attacks anyway, with the possibility of getting 4 attacks each, or then 3 attacks. You know what I mean? So I like it. It has the ability of getting higher, middle, or a little bit lower, which is fine. I don't mind this. It's kind of like a horizontal buff. I don't know if that makes any sense. There's one of those horizontal.
It's a side step. It did not necessarily get better or worse. It just changed. But again, without having the rest of the demon stuff, it's kind of hard to say. Like we know
exactly.
Like if he is your warlord, you have to take this particular dominion. So that in his detachment. So we know that's a forced thing, but what it means, unfortunately, who knows?
We don't know. But it's a kind of cool. I should also point out, by the way, with the rules, it also came out with the new Gargantuan rules as well.
Yes.
Because demons are not super heavy, they're Gargantuan, for those who played old 7th, 5th, and 6th edition, which is really interesting because they're basically superest monstrous creatures. Just to kind of go over the rules real quick, Gargantuan units have Eternal Warrior and Fearless. They cannot be negatively affected by characteristics, although again, that makes me wonder whether they can be affected by their demon rules. Hold on, they're not affected by special rules. I wonder if that means that they can't be affected by demon, like the demon modification, up or down. Oh no, it says negatively. Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's so no, to me, off of that, assuming, demons having that rule, then no, he can't have his stats lowered.
But he can go higher. Oh, that's
because it does say negatively.
Turn 1, yeah.
Models can pass automatically dangerous terrain. They can't end it impossible. They count as 10 models for outnumbering another unit. Let's see here. They can only react to armigers or higher. Although I guess dreadnoughts are smaller. Yeah, so dreadnought, armiger, Primarch, vehicle of 8 wound characteristics 8 or more. So can't react to the peons.
Oh, never mind. It wouldn't. That doesn't happen because 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can't.
I was gonna say the Dark Angels thing, the Exindio's immune, but no, that's not true because it has 9 wounds. I think
it has 9. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Successful wounds scored by poison or flesh bane that have to be re-rolled. That's very normal. It may attack with all of its weapons in the shooting attack, so this doesn't really affect Kabandha, but just in case there's another gargantuan creature later on. They can attack with ordnance weapons as per normal. They can't be joined by anyone. Oh, a model with this gargantuan unit subtype ignores all effects, both detrimental and beneficial, of all psychic powers and cannot be wounded or affected by any attack with psychic focus special rule. Weapons with the force special rule that are used to make attacks against the model with this gargantuan are not affected and resolved normally. Oh. Oh, okay. I should also point out that he's unique, which that's a normal rule.
Get one of them.
Yeah. So overall, I like him. He's 550 points. He's a Primarch level. Like Primarch's what, 400 to 600 points, or 400 to 500 points.
Primarch's like 460. That's a pretty safe zone for Primarch's. About 460.
And he's pretty much a Primarch.
I mean, he's more points, but he is better than a Primarch off of base things. He does more.
I mean, he can't choose like who he kills like a Primarch can, but who gives a fuck? Like, he's Kabandha.
No, he's better than a Primarch. It's that simple.
Yeah.
What he has, he has better strength, better toughness. He has more wounds. He has probably more attacks than most of them.
Yeah, but a Primarch can't. A Primarch can pick and choose who he kills. So, like, you can theoretically put fodder in front of Kabandha, whereas a Primarch, you're like, no, I'm killing him, and him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think that works that way. By the way. I don't think that works that way in terms of, put fodder in front of him. Okay, I killed that squad of guys. Now I'm going to lay my fire, my Hellstorm template down, and I'm still going to be hitting all the rest of your units.
True.
You put a squad of guys in front of me. I'm going to kill most of them. The rest are probably going to run. And then I'm going to put the template down.
You're going to sweep because
hold on. I got to look at the main rule book. Unless maybe it's under like the Mechanicum rules. Are there stomps in the main rule book or no?
No.
I don't think so. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
But
no,
so maybe it'll be in the
points in a Primarch, so it makes sense that pound
for
pound, he is better than a Primarch. Him fitting army. When you start getting to some of these points levels, it's hard to judge the model because of how expensive it is and how far beyond in certain ways. But I mean, he is exceedingly strong. He's 50 points cheaper than Horus Ascendant, and Horus Ascendant is nuts. So.
No, I like him. He's really cool. I didn't buy him though. I know I promised podcasters I'd buy him. Yeah, I didn't realize he'd be. I thought he was going to be around the 300 range. To be quite honest,
what did he come out? I thought he was 300 something.
No. I meant like 200. Hold on a second here. Forge World. Open up Forge World. He came out to.
I thought it was.
Oh, come on, Forge World.
Like
really?
330.
You don't remember that I live in the U.S. There he is. 330. Actually, he's not as bad.
Yeah, so spot on. 330.
Yeah, he's not as bad. I'll definitely order him. I like him. I will say I like him much more with the helmet on. By the way, I think him with the helmet on is 1,000% better, in my opinion. Like, his helmet is beautiful.
Yeah, no, you're allowed to be wrong. It's okay.
No, I like him better without the helmet, but it's not bad if you put him with the helmet. No, he's the price point I thought he would be. I mean, it's gonna be a big model, and let's face it, they like to do premium costs.
His base size, it's a knight base. It's a 170 mil oval.
Oh, 170 mil. Yep, it is. Okay, which makes him on par with old demon behemoths, which makes sense. Okay, I like him. Like I said, cool rules, love it. Nothing more to say about that. Can't wait for demon rules.
Unfortunately, we have no idea how long you're going to have to wait.
So the two biggest rumors are either when Kabandha finally does sell, that's when demons will get release rules, or when the Demon Codex drops for 9th edition, which people like no one knows when the Demon Codex is dropping because they've released or they've leaked so much information. So how people like leak codexes early, or sometimes they'll be, and usually that codex is then released a month later ish, right? Yeah. It's never like a year out. It's usually like a month out. So we haven't gotten pages yet of the Demon Codex, but we got a book cover, and then now we're actually getting like some leaked rules. So I'm gonna definitely say either a month or 2 out. That's gonna be my prediction.
I think it's at least probably like 2 months out. Honestly, I don't think it's as close as some people think. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they did fire like a bunch of playtesters and stuff like that because they want to stop some of these leaks. So it could just be that they removed some of the problem.
True.
That's absolutely true. But I will, if not, in their sort of timeline, they talked about a little later in the year some additional rules. So they might drop when, Solar Auxiliary and all those people get their rules. But hopefully sooner. But
yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So we are now going to shimmy over and go over and discuss the Iron Warriors. So again, we are going through the legions, at least for the time being, in order. We are now up to the 4th Legion, so we're up to the Iron Warriors. Does anyone... I did not... Normally, I try to read the fluff ahead of time to get more comfortable with it, because some of it's just been a while since I've done it.
Yeah.
Did anyone go through and either read the fluff or feel comfortable enough talking about it at the moment?
Well, I mean, Steve is probably going to take this one.
The Iron Warriors. Yeah. That's my
I will say, before Steve talks, though, I will say the Iron Warriors suck, and you know what? They're just the worst Legion. You know?
It's okay. At least I play a Legion army and have rules.
It is true. You actually have no rules whatsoever.
All right,
except
Steve,
Kabandha, which you don't own.
Kabandha, which I don't
All
own.
right.
Iron
so
Warriors,
the
Steve.
Iron Warriors, the Iron Fourth, the Corpse Grinders. Arguably the best Legion of all time. They had amazing recruitment. They have the purest gene seed, and they have an exceptional bionic acceptance rate, meaning that when they take casualties, they can quickly replace the lost limbs and replace the dead casualties.
Ultramarine players are screaming at you, by the way.
That's okay, because their bionic acceptance rate is not as good. So the Iron Warriors, they are the workhorse Legion of the Crusade. Essentially, whenever there was something like, hey, this kind of sucks, that's going to take a lot of casualties, a lot of just raw brute force, call up the Iron Warriors, make them deal with it, and then take the credit for yourself. So the Iron Warriors, even before being reunited with their Primarch, became very, very stubborn in their approach to war. Essentially, once there was a battle plan, they followed the battle plan and just kept throwing forward material until either they were dead or their enemies were. This led to many Imperial Army regiments requesting to not serve alongside the Iron Warriors, and this eventually led to them mostly having penal regiments assigned to their use. Once Perturabo joins them, he looks at his combat record and goes, wow, you guys are disappointing me. You're so wasteful. And he orders decimation of the Legion. 1 in 10 Legionnaires, regardless of rank or status, is put to death by the other 9 of his brothers. So everyone's like, oh my god, Perturabo's a dick. Yeah, a little bit. There's no love. Yeah, there's no love harbored for the Primarch, and the Primarch himself is not very affectionate. He definitely struggles with in this people skills department. Part of his issue is that from the beginning he was utilized as a tool more than anything else by his adoptive father, the Tyrant of Locos. It's been a while. I think it's Tyrant of Locos, the ruler of Olympia. And when the Emperor comes by, picks him up, he's like, finally, my real father. He's like, yeah, I need you to go fight this war and lose all your men. And he's like, oh.
Real feel bad moment.
All Perturabo wants to do is build architecture, erect great monuments, and things like that.
He wants to be Doran. Like, him and Doran would have been the best of goddamn buddies.
Not at all. So Perturabo wants to rectify places of culture and art. In Age of Exterminatus, he actually shows off plans on an amphitheater he designed, and Fulgrim convinces him to build it on some random backwater world, and Perturabo manages to pull together all the materials required, and I think it took him like a day to build an amphitheater large enough to host a legion. All for some weird, just pompous ceremony Fulgrim wanted to go through. He loved art. He loved science. He designed a lot of cool shit, including this beautiful tank called the Tormentor, which is his personal transport. And And I feel like I'm going on a very long tangent here.
No, it's
Iron Warriors, they get shit done.
One of the more
They are
tragic
known as
Like,
he is.
Yeah, I will
From
say
the
out of all the
moment he
tragedies,
gained consciousness, he was haunted, like literally haunted by the Eye of Terror. He looks up at the night sky and he just sees it staring at him, no matter where he goes. Anyone that is subject to that will probably go at least a little paranoid. And he's actually the one that coins the name, the Eye of Terror. At that point, it was just warp anomaly, blah, 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 blah. He flies up to, he's like, yeah, this is called the Eye of Terror, because this shit's fucking with my psyche, man.
Stupid question.
Mhm.
40k. He's the only. Well, I mean, they're all the Primarchs in 40k. Traitor ones are demonically infused, but I feel like he's the only one not blessed by a certain god. Wait, is he demonically infused in 40k? I don't think he's a demon prince in 40k.
He is classified as a demon Primarch in 40k. He does not follow any specific god. His view of the warp is that it is a tool to be utilized.
Shocking.
And bent to his will.
I'm shocked by this.
Yeah. He actually did get along with Magnus fairly well. He was not present at Nicaea, so we don't know for sure whether he truly would have voted against the Librarius.
We know what
but
he
his own But his own legion did not have extensive use of Psychers. So he was given a vote of pro-censure in absentia. But yeah, he is the reason the Imperium is alive today, as a matter of fact. So some spoilers for one of the Siege of Terra books. The Iron Warriors, once again, get put to work. They are not thanked, and right when it's time to seize glory, it's like Horus goes, "Hey, cool, Mortarion, take over for Perturabo here." Naturally, Perturabo gets fucking pissed, and he goes, "You know what? I don't want to fight this war anyway. You motherfuckers are bringing demons into this shit, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm out." Because from the beginning, Perturabo's entire reason for rebelling was because, how to explain it? It's like World War One. In World War One, countries joined the war because they wanted to sit at the bargaining table at the end of the war when they won to extort things from, those they conquered, right? That was Perturabo's reason for joining up with Horus. He wanted to join with the side that he thought was going to win and would understand his position and use it as leverage when they negotiated a peace. To improve his legion status.
Except he got stuck with the warp.
Yep.
Fulgrim.
Stuck with the warp infused assholes. Yep.
Yeah.
And he beats up like 2/3 of them. He smacks Fulgur in the face and beats him to shit while he's transforming into his demon Primarch form, while his own energy is being sapped. He is the one who has to wrestle Angron into joining the war on Terra. He fights everyone.
For good reason. He's underappreciated.
Oh, good reasons for sure.
It is a cool legion. As much shit as I give the Iron Warriors, the other reason, by the way, little side note, the reason I give Iron Warriors so much shit is that they are
everyone plays them around us.
Yeah, they are the more popular legion to play. And it's funny enough, not because of rules or like they're more powerful or anything. It's only because they're the easy. I dare say, and Steve could correct me on this, they're the easiest legion to play. Sans the hazard stripes. They're one of the more easier legions.
Pretty straightforward to paint, yeah.
Silver with
I do
black.
it for the lore.
Yeah.
I do it for the lore, but I will say the painting ease is definitely a reason I have continued with them as my main legion.
Yeah. It makes them a little more popular, which is fine. I'm not shitting on people for choosing an easier. I just like it.
And painting is always as hard as you make it.
We're in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And every goddamn event.
New Jersey, New York, like that.
Yeah, and the tri-state area
is bitter and salty.
Everyone is an Iron Warrior.
A natural draw.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone's a fucking Iron Warrior. Now, what's funny is like people bring different lists, of course. Like I played against Brett, who likes to bring lots of Siege Breakers. Someone please correct me if I'm saying their name wrong.
Tyrant Siege Terminators.
So he brings a lot of those, which are really fun to play. I know I played against Steve, who likes running his infantry. I've played against who's the guy who brought a lot of tanks?
Nathan?
It was Nathan, I can't remember. But yeah, he brings a lot of tanks and dreadnoughts. He's the one who has the beautiful dreadnoughts on desert bases. Is that Nathan?
Oh,
No.
Lou!
There it is, Lou. Yeah, I was gonna say. So yeah, I played so many different armies of Iron Warriors. I just find it funny, like everyone's an Iron Warrior. I swear to God.
I mean, for the games I've played, at least out of like Red Seal and stuff like that, I want to say there's like 7 or 8 people playing. I don't think anyone chose Iron Warriors. I don't believe so.
Oh,
yeah. So far, no one.
Again, not shitting on people who chose Iron Warriors, but I was just like, God, it's like the no, but they're good. They're good. I like them.
All right. Why don't we get into their Legion trait here? Who wants to take the Legion trait?
Dave, I'd say you.
I'll do it. Yeah, that's fine with me. So their Legion trait, Rack and Ruin, says when a model with this special rule makes a shooting attack or melee attack targeting a model with the Dreadnought, Automata, Vehicle, or Building unit subtype, it gains +1 to the strength of that attack. So essentially, for the things that you need more strength to hurt, because your infantry, you're not going to need it if you're going against a Space Marine or one of Dan's crazy things that he'll run instead. You don't need against the regular guys. You need it against something bigger.
They're Automata. Hold on, they're Automata.
Automata. Yeah. But not everything of yours is. Like you have some smaller things that aren't. But again, the smaller units you don't have to.
T6, the strength bump to strength 5 against T6 goes from moving on 6s to moving on 5s.
Yes.
You can glance a rhino to death from the front, or even explode it from the rear, which is hilarious with just a bolter.
Yeah. And I mean, at least from my perspective, because I've been playing against Iron Hands quite a bit. It's a nice kind of counter to theirs because they lower your strength of your weapon by 1, which means that for the heavy things, you're having a struggle to even hurt them. Where this is a nice option to that. But again, that's just because I've been playing against a lot of Iron Hands.
Yeah. But even strength 10 las cannons against a vehicle, that's fucking scary.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it works exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I've converted a great many what would be glances into penetrating hits just because Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
It's a very straightforward, brutal rule.
Yes.
It's very dependent on your opponent's makeup, but I don't think this is actually what defines the Legion playstyle, funny enough.
No, I agree. And honestly, I would slightly disagree and even it depends on the army because I've not yet seen someone take literally all infantry and no vehicles, no automata, no dreadnought. You haven't taken a dreadnought yet?
I took 2 box dreads and that's it.
Okay,
that's all I've done so far for dreads.
And they're tough to 6, by the way. So now, So now you're wounding them on 5. So yeah, no, I like it. It's a good trait. So it sounds basic.
It won't help against normal contemptors, but absolutely bails you out against salamanders and iron hands.
Well,
salamanders is reduction to the wound rolls with flame, like fire attacks, like flamers, meltas, plasmas, which usually knocks it down, to the next tier for strength, and the bonus to strength usually counterbalances it. So plasmas normally wound on a 4, salamanders make it a 5, but then Iron Warriors brings it back to the
4.
Yeah, essentially, because it goes from
really good. Yeah,
7 on 7 to 8 on 7. So, yeah.
Well,
I said I ain't got a problem with it. I like it a lot.
Well, no, none of these are going to be bad.
Yeah, true.
But yes, it doesn't help against, say, your Contemptor with your guy with your bolt or anything like that. But it does help for some of the whether we call it heavy weapons or special weapons, the ones that kind of sit in the middle. So take say heavy bolters, for instance. Okay, your heavy bolters, you get a good amount of shots from your squad, reasonably cheap from the heavy weapon squad that has them, and you're pretty good at hurting the infantry. But anything that's heavier, especially say like your Contemptor, because it's in the box, it's one of the kits coming out soon, you're going to have those. Yeah, it struggles more against them. Okay, the +1 strength there is going to give you a little bit of a bonus. I know at least me and some other people I play against a lot of Volkite, because Volkite tends to be a little bit stronger. But you have contemptors at, say, 7, or the Leviathan, especially because they have the new one coming out, sitting at 8, where some of these weapons might not even have a chance to hurt them. Well, at least now you either have a chance or you have a better chance.
Mhm.
So
I mean,
Oh
if they
yeah,
can-
absolutely. I'll put it this way:
Okay.
this Legion rule makes me actually want to run autocannons.
Yeah.
Because
Yep,
now
that's what I
they're
was-
strength 8,
Yep.
they could actually accomplish something.
I was gonna say, even so, can you take assault cannons as Iron
Nope.
Warriors?
I am
Oh,
not an Imperial
yeah.
Fist. I am not a Blood Angel.
Blood
I
Angels
mean, I
are
can take the Carries Assault Cannon, but that's, I think, it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, but no autocannons. I could see like a squad of autocannons. Also, in their strength
Mhm.
8, winning contemptors on 3s, and I
I'm
think they're
dying for that weapon set to drop.
rending 5 up, 6 up. What are they? They're
It's
shit.
6s. It's 6s.
Yeah, that's still good. Yeah, but that's
But still,
shit, man.
the strength 8 is plenty because now I'm doing instant death to regular Marines, and just like things like that. It's just
They
nice.
don't. It doesn't get it against Marines.
Oh right, shh, quiet, shh. Let me cheat, Dan. Shh.
It feels like
Yeah.
they don't
Oh yeah, no,
have
like
to
I'm
worry
wounding
about.
dreads on 3s, and
No, it feels like they don't have to worry about the really heavy weapons as much, because you'll get a bonus on your things that are a little bit lighter, or and potentially often a little cheaper.
What's even stupid cool, by the way, about this little even side note about this is this also affects planes. So, like, if you take the Xiphon fighter, the Xiphon interceptor fighter, which is literally just an anti-tank plane, it's two shot las cannons, right? Now our strength 10, and it's like I think 100 point. How much is a Xiphon? Xiphons aren't that.
105.
They're 105. So you have. Let me. You know what? Hold on. Someone talk while I look this up in 5 seconds. I got to command F this motherfucker.
Problem is,
So I
you're
want to
going
say
to talk to
Xiphon from the
yourself out
PDF.
loud while you look it up. You have
Okay,
to be
never
able to
mind.
look
No, I
up
thought
in
the Xiphon was
silence.
in the
If you can look up in
PDF.
silence, it would work.
No, the Xiphon's in the rule book, not in the PDF.
Yeah.
So I can't even look it up. But yeah, like the Xiphon all of a sudden has strength 10 las cannons and a missile launcher that's now strength 9. Like that, it's such a good buff to just everything.
Yeah, because
I like
vehicles get a tune at this edition. So like Predators, whoo,
it. Yeah, oh my god,
strong guns.
triple las cannon Predator. Yeah. God, even the
Or
fucking
triple
Land Raider.
las Land Raider. Yep.
Yeah, even the Land Raider. Fuck, man. No, it's good.
Honestly,
It's good.
I'm much
I ain't mad.
more. Okay, I mean, yeah. My weapon strength 10. That's nice. I'm much more excited about sort of the middle things that it can do, because it feels
True.
like, it feels like then you can compete with that. My last cannon going to strength 10 is going to help me, again, depending on the list. It's going to help me in a few spots, but in many cases, my 9 was probably getting me through what I wanted. Yeah, if someone's running a Spartan or something like that, okay, that's another story. But okay, I took out your Spartan. All right, but now what? Whereas I think that the middling stuff, what I might call that, to me that seems more exciting.
I agree. Like the auto cannons, heavy bolters.
Because they're the
How the
ones that
Volkite-
Here's a
probably
really
needed
dumb
to
one.
shift a little bit more.
Yeah.
Crack grenades go up to strength 7.
Oh, that's
So
right.
they'll now wound contemptors on 4s.
On 4s.
Because the problem with the contemptor's durability is that it's 5s to hit, and then 5s to wound, and then 2s to save.
Yeah.
This at least helps if you end up. I don't recommend getting yourself into this spot, but if you end up in that spot, it helps.
No, I like it.
Yeah, it helps. It helps give you that chance, and at least your normal guys can actually hurt a Leviathan, because otherwise they don't stand a chance. But
Yeah.
those guys are nuts. Love it. All right. Why don't we go on to their advanced reaction? Who wants to take the advanced reaction?
Steve or me could
Dan
take
was excited for that
Yeah,
one.
I
it
like
sounds.
this one.
If you're
But I've
excited,
seen
you're
this
allowed to
one.
volunteer yourself.
God, I've seen this one like 3 times on battle reports, and each time it's been so fucking hilarious. All right, so it's called Bitter Fury. Obviously, this is only for Iron Warriors, blah, blah, blah. So Bitter Fury, this advanced reaction may be made once per battle during the opposing player's shooting phase. When an enemy unit declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit under the reactive player's control, composed entirely of models, the Legion of Stardust Iron Warrior special rule. Ooh, okay. Once the active player has resolved all 2 hit and 2 wound rolls and armor saves made, but before any damage mitigation rolls are taken or casualties removed, the reactive player may make a shooting attack. So it's kind of like the reaction, you might say, but then you keep reading. Targeting the unit that triggered the reaction, with all weapons making twice their making twice their normal number of attacks, but gaining the Get Hot special rule. 2 hit rolls for weapons that already pose the Get Hot special rule. This rule triggers a special rule on a 1 or 2 during the shooting attack instead of a normal 1. A unit that makes the shooting attack as part of a Bitter Fury action may not make any attacks indirectly. Okay, so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, indirectly,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you double the amount of income. So it's the shooting reaction.
Except
it's
there's one more thing that I just noticed.
What? I didn't
Template weapons use Wall of Death.
Yeah.
But in this reaction, they do not have the 8-inch range restriction.
No, they do
Oh,
not.
they do not.
Nope, there's no 8-inch range.
Interesting. I didn't even notice that mitigation. Okay.
I just noticed that myself.
Yeah.
I'm curious
okay.
if that's intentional or not.
So,
or did they just copy and paste it wrong?
I know it's intentional for Overwatch,
Mhm.
but I don't know if it's intentional here. I'm not going to do this, but I mean, it looks like you might be able to.
Yeah, I'm saying yes. Again, I posted the Emperor's Children question on Facebook, and it was like a 50-50 split. And to me, it's like, okay, I understand rules as intent and rules as written. I understand that people play with intent, and I'm a person that plays with intent. But I look at this rulebook and I see that so many things are worded so specifically, right? Like the big thing for me was exoshock, right? Or like rending, that anytime it says anytime this value is not present in the brackets, it is a 6. So it kind of future proofs in case they make an error, right? Oh, it doesn't have a rending value. What's the rending value? Oh, it's a 6. That's what it says in the rules. I think they were so specific with how these were worded that I think the rules as written and rules or intent are so close together. You know what I mean? So I would say yes. There's no 8-inch restriction on template weapons for this one. I would say yes.
So
it doesn't say it.
I would give it for sure because it doesn't say it at all. But there are when you look at that portion of the rule, essentially how you're allowed to shoot. In the reaction / an Overwatch, they have those sort of rules put down. It could easily have been they copied from the one they didn't intend. So if this is what they intended, that's fine. I just personally was curious, did they intend not to put that, or did they copy it from the wrong spot? But either way, I think it's fine. I don't think there's a problem. And since it's your once per game reaction, and that rule is not breaking a fundamental process, where I think the Emperor's Children one sort of breaks a fundamental process and a fundamental understanding. This one doesn't. So playing with it is fine. It doesn't feel wrong to do it.
Now, as for the rule, I should point out, double fire and gets hot. Yes, please. Just take a normal fucking bolter squad. Which is what I've seen it, by the way, used like 9 times out of 10. One person used it on a.
I feel about 6 shots per model.
Yeah, so someone used it on a plasma squad once, which I thought was also hilarious. Or flamer squad, which I thought was hilarious because it's 2 flamers. It's 2d3 per. But I saw, I used to see it used on a bolter squad, and yeah, let's say you're shooting a 20-man squad, and let's say they're in I think the person was in rapid fire as well, or at least half the unit was in rapid fire. The amount of
and use fury because it's a reaction.
It's the stupid amount of fucking shots that come back, and it's just straight bolters is insanity. It's literally insane. And sure, it gets hot, but you still get armor saves because it's a bolter.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I like this advanced reaction.
You have to roll each model's attack separately.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, we did discuss this before.
Yes.
That does blow. I do hate that. I kind of wish, and I know, I think me and Dave were talking about this. I know it could be gamey for someone to do this, but I kind of wish, just kind of also the Master Crafted rule does this. I kind of wish they could have just said, roll it in a batch, and then you select who takes the gets hot. And you have to it has to be 1 by 1, and then if you go through the entire squad, then you can double up. You can't put all 10 of them on one model. You know what I mean? It has to be evenly distributed.
It adds it adds a complication. It adds essentially an extra rule on top that I don't think they wanted to do,
Yeah.
because then you have to think of all the different ways that rule works, the way it interacts. If you roll it in a batch currently with no rule, it is to your detriment as the player to do that. Because if you roll 4 ones and
Wait,
you have
really?
to, you essentially potentially lose 4 models, it might have been one model that rolled those. So it is a bit of a hassle, but it is in your favor to actually be doing it the way you have to.
I didn't think of it that way. See, I was just thinking it was in terms of because Mastercrafted. I should
No.
point out
Oh,
because
but these
this
guys
happened
don't
with Custodians.
true, but these guys don't have Master
No, I know,
Crafted,
but
so that's a different thing
Mastercrafted are the same problem. Where if you have like a unit of Mastercrafted weapons, you have to roll them individually because it's only one reroll per person.
That is much
So
more in
that's- I
your
did what-
advantage if you could roll in a pile. This is actually in your disadvantage if you did it in a pile.
Us.
But of the
Now, I
advanced
will
reactions we've seen
say-
so far, it is to me ubiquitously good.
I would use this on a squad with a low volume, high quality attack, like
Yes.
a las cannon squad.
Oh, we had 20.
You shot my las cannons here. Take double the normal las cannons back to their face. Especially if it's on like iron havocs, because then they're hitting on 2s, and it's nice.
It's a really good rule.
Yeah.
It's a really good rule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Could you
I
imagine
like
a
it. I
plasma
haven't-
cannon squad?
I haven't used it yet, but in theory, I like it.
Could you imagine a 10-man plasma cannon squad with this? They get shot, and then you drop 20 small blasts of plasma.
Well, you're not going to get that many because remember, on a plasma, if it gets hot, the blast doesn't go off, and you're getting hot on 1s and 2s. So 1/3 of them are not going off, and potentially, you'll still get your armor saves, but it's gonna off that number. It's gonna kill some Marines. So
It depends if it breaches itself. That's the only problem. Because remember, plasma can breach on a 4.
But it auto wounds, so you don't roll for breach.
you don't
breach
roll
Oh,
that
that's right.
actually.
Oh,
It's an
that
armor.
is weird.
Yeah, you
I
get
guess
your
you do
armor.
get your armor. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, I like it. Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Love it. Ain't gonna be mad.
I mean, obviously, I think we're gonna like all of these at least to some extent. I think it'll be interesting once they're all done to be able to do a bit of comparison of where we rank them. Same thing when we actually get the Primarchs in the future, doing a ranking of those and all. Because someone did ask about that, so we're gonna get back to that. We got to see all this first. We already spent
point out
forever
since someone
talking,
asked-
let alone trying to do that as well.
If someone does want to know who the Primarch killer is, because I did the math, I know, shocking. Ferrus Manus is actually the one who kills the most amount of Primarchs, besides, of course, Horus Extended, Horus Exemplified, or whatever the fuck he's called.
Ascended.
He's Ascended. Yeah, he's a bar above the rest. He doesn't count. But yeah, Ferrus Manus, ironically, I'm not gonna listen. Spoiler. This is such an old spoiler.
We literally
Ferrus
said
Manus
this before.
dies.
We said this like last week.
Yeah,
We
no.
talked about that.
Okay, yeah, he is the Primarch killer. So just really cool that he is. But anyway, yeah,
Warlord traits. Yeah.
let's do it.
All right.
Tyrant of these fucking names. Tyrant of
Apollo.
Apollo. Yeah, Apollo.
Yep.
All right.
So this.
Oh, good.
Dan, you got the last one, Dan.
Yeah, calm down.
No, you want to give me the fluff?
excited
Go
about
ahead.
Iron Warriors.
Go ahead. Tell me about this fluff.
Tyrant of the Apollo. So essentially, this one, Iron Warriors are, just in general, just for all the Warlord traits real fast. The Iron Warriors did not get penetrated by the lodges like other legions did, largely because they had their own fraternal system in place that didn't really accommodate the lodges, and this was built around different styles of warfare, kind of like the Dark Angels, but a lot less secret. So the Legion had specialists in different fields, most of them pertaining to siege warfare. We have the Storberzak. I feel like I butchered that, which were like their siege experts. You have like the first warlord right here, the Apollo. Those were the ones that were experts in the Cybernetica. Just all these different you can think of them as like gun cults, essentially. Different gun cults of the Iron Warriors. And they all have a different thing that they were really good at. Artillery, this, that, the other. And part of the thing they would do as these little sub-factions was they would play war games. So there's a scene in Age of Exterminatus where you have a bunch of warsmiths essentially playing Warhammer at a table, and this guy walked up and was like, something's not right with this. Like, oh, no wonder they're using Imperial Fist tactics. No wonder they suck. And then there's this whole little great scene where you see Perturabo mounting the defense of Terra, and it's flawless. Not as in not a single wall collapses, but the walls collapse specifically that he wanted to collapse, and just oh my god, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But yeah, these Warlord traits touch on 3 of those kind of sub factions. We have the Apollocron, which is the Automata faction. They're all about those cybernetics, man. We have the Dodecathon, which is the fortification builders and destroyers, and the Listara, which are the ones who are all about just unleashing that inner rage they have. Once they finally break through a fortress wall, they go ham. Just unloading guns in every direction.
Here's an interesting thing. Warlord traits we've seen have been like, this is for traitor only, this is for loyalist only. I'm not seeing that in any of these. These could be traitor or loyalist.
That's right, because Iron Warriors, no matter which side they fell on, had the same kind of philosophies running through them.
I just noticed that as I was reading a couple of them.
Fun fact, there are more Traitor Ultramarine Warlord traits than there are Traitor Iron Warriors Warlord traits.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Iron War. Oh, yeah. One thing I forgot to mention earlier with the Fluff and Iron Warriors, they are probably the #1 most fractured legion in terms of allegiance. As I mentioned, they don't have much love for their Primarch. They also aren't terribly fond of the Emperor, so a lot of them end up just fighting whatever their own battles are. Obviously, a large portion of the Legion works directly under Perturabo and carries out his orders. But because they were used on garrison duty so much and spread so thin, we have warsmiths that didn't even realize that the heresy was going on, or that Perturabo turned traitor. Examples would include Kier Vhalen of the 77th Grand Battalion and Barbara and Falk. Right? Falk? No, not Falk. No, Dantiok. Dantiok, who joins up with the Ultramarines over at the Pharaohs.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why the Warlord traits are all neutral.
Yeah.
So, Steve, I don't know if you know the
any
40K
Iron
shit.
Warrior could have fought on any side of the war.
So, fun fact, Steve, I don't know if you know the 40K shit. Iron Warriors are also the most fractured 40K Chaos Space Marine Legion. They have the most war hosts out of all the Chaos Space Marine Legions. And they continually fight each other in the warp. They're the most fractured.
Of course, because that guy has the best idea, except it's that guy. That guy.
So I just little side
Storm of Iron is a book I'm working my way through.
Storm of Iron is exactly what I'm quoting. That's exactly the book I'm quoting. Yeah. All right. So the Tyrant of Polychron, the Warlord with this trait, gains the Fearless special role. So I'm just going to pause there. Excellent. Fucking Fearless is amazing. But may not join any units that is not entirely composed of models with Iron Warrior special rule. However, the Warlord in all models in the unit it must adhere to the following restrictions. So, during both the controlling player's shooting phase and the charge subphase, the unit must attempt a shooting attack or charge if there is an enemy unit within range. And it must target the closest enemy unit possible that is within line of sight and is a valid target for a shooting attack or charge. If 2 or more targets are equally close in the controlling oh shit, this is the fucking cybernet. Okay.
That's why
if 2 or more targets are equally
You didn't realize that?
No, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, wait a minute.
You didn't realize the 5th word in the
No, I didn't.
Automata?
Oh, I did not even. Okay. So if you get to choose the target if they're equally distant, and you make an additional reaction in the shooting phase. So for those who did not listen to the podcast on our Mechanicum leaks, this is exactly a Mechanicum rule.
Yes.
So, So I'm gonna kind of repeat the same thing I said when I talked about Mechanicum. Fearless is awesome, but you can be kited.
Yeah.
That's you have some because you don't have to move to the closest person, so you have some degree of flexibility of who you're going to shoot and who you're going to charge. But the opponent, if played correctly, and let's be honest, the opponent, opponent can absolutely play correctly. The opponent played correctly can absolutely bait out shooting something that you don't want to shoot at. You know what I mean? Fucking park the Spartan right in front of your unit, and no matter where they go, they're going to be shooting the Spartan. Oh no, that sucks.
Also, it does, because it does say, the shooting. That's one thing. Okay, reaction. You do also have to attempt to charge, which means if you're naturally pushing yourself forward and you get within 12 inches, you might be at that point where realistically you're not going to make the charge. It's just not going to happen because you need to roll boxcars on it. But I'm going to get to react and potentially shoot you because of it, or I try to position myself well, and I'm going to force you to take my reactions after you've done something on your turn that's not nearly as good.
Exactly. And it's a very, like I said, it's very good. Like I said, fearless is one of those rules where it's like those hidden, please dear God, if there's a fearless unit, take it. Because fearless, so correct me if I'm wrong, they did not make fearless that you like take damage. That's only like a demon thing. We don't know. But fearless right now, and fearless is just fearless. Yeah, so fearless is amazing. Like, take it from someone who takes Sisters of Silence who had fearless. Having one sister literally stay and hold up like 12 Marines is fucking amazing, especially if it's on your turn. So I don't know if the benefits outweigh the cost, but it's still cool. Not good. Still a cool warlord trait.
To me, no. The reason why I don't like this one. Okay, now I mean, if you like the fluff, you like the idea, cool. That's all that. When I try to look at it from more of an outsider perspective, when I think of my Warlord's unit, I often think of, a usually big time unit, a potentially nice and strong unit, a unit that I'm not worried about them necessarily getting shot so much, or if I'm getting close enough to do charges, I'm fine with charging. I want to be charging because these guys are geared out for it or something like that. To me, the gain of fearless, I'm not as loving it for it as you are in my Warlord unit, because I think my Warlord unit is probably going to be pretty badass, unless I'm putting my Warlord in, like, I don't know, a giant squad attack Marines or something. They're somewhere like, your fearless tactical squad. That to me is useful because those guys, they're going to lose a close combat. They're going to potentially get swept down, or I'm worried about them running away. My Warlord's probably already got a good leadership, and when I have control of where I'm going, to an extent, obviously your opponent could say otherwise. When I have some control over what's going to happen to me, I should hopefully be able to be choosing or put in the battles where it's not going to be a slaughter to my side, where I'm truly going to need that fearless to stick it out.
You know what? Not even tacticals, Dave. Wait, so I'm not sure. Are breachers line?
Yep.
Yeah, they should be, right? I know they're on Heart of the Legion.
And more expensive.
Yeah, they're more expensive.
They're more expensive, but maybe like put them in a breacher squad. Or put them in a fucking transport. Put them in a Spartan with a breacher squad. Now you're fearless in a Spartan, and the Spartan doesn't need to charge or shoot the closest thing. Like, there are ways to kind of solve this. Put them in a transport. You know what I mean? And then move the transport.
I don't think it's the most detrimental. And I haven't read the other ones yet. I try not to read ahead for some of these, just so that I can kind of get more of my beginning looks at it. But on the cursory glance, I want to be able to control what I do more, and that worries me more than being fearless, in my mind, helps me. It might very well end up being the other way, but I'm so far the Warlord traits, I'm not in love with that one. Not too much of a fan.
Nah, I'm on the same page as Dave here. It's nice, but the detriment's huge.
I don't know. I think you could put them in a transport, or like put them in a flying transport, and it kind of mitigates that. And now you have a fearless blob for your Warlord.
Okay, so I'm in a flying transport. There are ways around it. I'm coming in maybe turn 2 to start. My Warlord's not on the table at least turn 1, so I don't get my extra reactions. No, you
still get your reaction.
Yeah, because they have not been removed as a casualty.
Yeah, they're not dead. Exactly.
But, okay, so I still have it, but my Warlord's not still doing anything. It might be till turn 3 when he starts. I'm not saying you can't have your Warlord in a big vehicle and all, but even then, okay, I push forward, I get out. okay, can I get out in the right position? I'm with these heavy guys in a Spartan. Can I get out in the right position? All right, maybe, but was the fearless worth it? I just think there's a lot of potential downside.
Potential downs. I agree with you. Like I said, it's not the worst one we've seen. It's not the best one we've seen, but it works.
And
That's the kind
you
of
have an army that has a lot of automatas, so you're kind of used to, this is just something I potentially deal with. Where for other
exactly. I guess
people,
that's
it
where
could be a lot more detrimental because they're
yeah.
not used to having to deal with that.
It sounds bad, but I'm used to positioning with the Mechanicum to kind of mitigate this. And also remember, the cybernetic cortex for us also removes this stupid rule from us. So that's why I'm not like for example, let me give you a good example. The models that usually get affected by this are my Vorax, which outflank anyway, and they want to shoot and charge the closest thing anyway. That's their job. So that's why I'm like, I guess I'm not looking at the detriment of this as much. But let's read the other ones. Maybe the other ones are like way better. Maybe we're like, I haven't read the other ones yet. Maybe the other ones are just like, holy shit, why would I ever take the other one?
I can't believe that you didn't know that one dealt with automatas when that's what you do.
I read the fluff. About the emotionless automata of the Mechanicum, but I didn't put two and two together until I was like, wait a minute.
You
this
fell
rule
out
sounds
of the
familiar.
tree onto a bed of roses, and you had no idea without looking.
Yeah, pretty much. Without looking
down. Steve, which of the two do you want? This is your legion. You get some say.
That's a good question. So the one I've been playing with most recently is the next one, the Dodecathon.
Okay. Why don't you talk about that then, since you have some experience actually using it?
All right, so the Tyrant and the Dodecathon, the Brethren of Stone. The next one I have experience with both. But yeah, Dodecathon. After everyone's been deployed on the battlefield, before scout moves and infiltrators are placed, the controlling player with the Warlord with this trait nominates one area of terrain, a building, or a fortification on the battlefield. If it's area terrain that gives a cover save, the cover save is lost, and the area is both difficult and dangerous terrain instead. If it is a building or fortification, then all rolls in the damage table made for it gets a modifier of +1. In addition, an army whose warlord has this trait may make an additional reaction during the shooting phase, as long as the warlord has not been removed. It's a very nice and straightforward trait, but I like it because it forces your opponent to contend with dangerous terrain somewhere. I don't know. I think it's fun.
So, if it's a ruin,
it's very unique.
Do ruins count as area?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
And you can choose it anywhere. So you could choose the one in their deployment zone that they now know they can't put their people into, if that was their goal, to get a little bit of safety.
Or the one right next to an objective, or
I honestly,
I actually have used this offensively.
Oh, I think this is offensive. I think that's what you do with it. Absolutely.
I mean, technically, it could be defenses because you're preventing them the use of that building.
True. Well, to me though, that's the offense. Like it's actively dangerous for you, and you get nothing good out of it. You are not going to want to stay there. And I took like your best feature.
That's okay.
I mean, of the two so far, I haven't read the third one yet, but of the two, I like this one so much. It's both fitting and feels useful. It feels like you have agency, and it's also not like a gotcha because warlord traits are known. So as your opponent, I have to think about what I'm doing, but I'm aware of what thing you might do to me. So no, I like this one. I think this one's really good. I don't know about the building or fortification part. Is that a big thing that people do
I've been
a lot of?
Trying to figure out. No, but what I've been trying to figure out recently is, could you use this to turn an Aegis defense line that you bring into dangerous terrain? Like, here's a line of dangerous terrain. Here's a line that you can't cross without risking some serious damage.
Not.
Does the Aegis line?
But it's a fortification choice.
Yeah, but that's a fortification. It doesn't make a fortification dangerous.
And it's not area terrain.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
No, it's not
area terrain.
No, it wouldn't do that.
It's like I don't think it works. No. I wish it did.
That would be very.
That would be funny. Anything counts. It's count. You put
It's
spikes.
unit.
in your
It's
trend line.
unit type fortification barricade, but it's not something you could destroy, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
which
work.
is annoying.
Which would be really interesting because that's like you putting spikes in front of your terrain.
Exactly. That's something I would love to be able to do. In last edition,
That's
you could
interesting. No, it's interesting. I like it. I ain't even mad.
But remember, that's not a thing though. You can't actually do that.
No, I know it's not. I'm saying
No.
it's an interesting idea. Let me finish. Interesting idea. It sucks you can't do it, but it's an interesting idea.
This one's a fun trade.
All right. Yeah, I like it.
All right, Dave. How about that?
Tyrant of
Lysatra.
Styra? It's Tra. Styra. I'm going with that.
Lysatra.
Lysatra.
Yeah,
It's probably
Sure,
Lysatra.
why not? It's fancy. A warlord with this trait, in every model with the infantry unit type in a unit, it is joined with Legion of Astartes Iron War special rule. Wait, okay. So every model with the infantry unit type in a unit, it has joined. Okay, so your warlord and the unit he joins, as long as they're infantry. That sounds like all that is. That's a very fancy way of saying that. May choose to roll an additional die when making a shooting attack with a rapid fire, assault, or heavy weapon that does not have the blast or template special rules, but the weapon gains the get hot special rule for the shooting attack. If the warlord and or unit under this effect of this trait makes the bitter fury reaction, then a single additional die is added to the number of attacks made by each model after the effects of bitter fury have been applied. So you don't add one and then double it, you double it, then add the one. It's a good math that way. In addition, whenever a warlord with this trait or any unit has enjoined is the target of an enemy shooting attack, it must either make the return fire or bitter fury reaction if possible. This reaction does not cost the reactive player's reactant allotment, but it does not allow the unit to make further reactions in the phase, and does not allow the bitter fury reaction to be made more than once per battle. However, a warlord with this trait and any unit has joined may make no other reactions in any phase except the intercept one. Okay, the first line is I understand what they're going for, but it was very poorly, or at least interpreted by me. But I guess there is cases where your warlord could be part of something that's not infantry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
like the Legion Mortificator.
Or the one that could run with Automata.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you get an extra die,
or bike units, for example.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, those can be mixed.
It seemed odd to me at first, but yeah, as long as he's in a unit of infantry, which you'd put him in there for that, you get an extra die when making shooting attacks. Essentially, as long as it's not blast or template, they get hot. But pretty much every weapon that gets hot, most weapons. No, actually, where you'd probably put him, it would be fine because you're probably maybe you're putting it in something with a good AP. I just thought of that because I was like, oh, it's not too bad. Because I was thinking plasma. But I was like, oh, actually, no. If he's in like a squad with las cannons, those guys are getting killed out if they roll that one.
Oh my god, las cannons, Volkite, heavy bolter, autocannons, in my opinion. Fucking a 20-man bolter squad. Again, people laugh at me, but
that's not
a 20-man bolter squad outside.
You get a
24 inches, that's
bigger
40
return,
shot.
though. You get a bigger return on the low ROF weapons because you're proportionally making a bigger increase. And your risk factor is also lower.
How many shots is an autocannon?
2.
2? Wait, only 2? Are you sure it's not 3?
The Dreadnought one is 3. I think the regular one is still 2.
It was
a question mark?
2 and like 40K.
Wait, I have my fucking Excel sheet. Oh wait, no, I don't. Oh,
Autocannon 2. The basic autocannon is 2.
So why am I asking? I have
the Gravis. That's 3.
Yeah. Gravis got you next.
Okay. I have the fucking cheat sheet right here. I don't want to sit on the fence for this one. But this one's such a like. This one's like the ultimate fence sitter in my opinion. So I like so everything that I liked about Bitter Fury is here.
Yep.
Right? You put this on a an okay AP, low shot, high strength weapon like Volkite, autocannon, even a heavy bolter. You're still taking normal armor saves, so fuck it, whatever. Who cares? You're getting more of an output for less of like a damage against you, in my opinion. But what my hesitation is, and again, the fact that you could only, you bitter fury or return fire, you're going to be doing that with probably that squad anyway, because you're going to stick them in a squad that is full of those heavy weapons or just bolters anyway, or you want to intercept. But, and this is where I really hesitate, the lack of other reactions. Now, if they could like Overwatch, like specifically, they can't Overwatch, which to me that hurts a lot.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like really, really, really like that's what shifts me more to the fence.
Because they have to return
Yes.
fire, you could bait that out so easily.
No, you could choose who you return fire to, right? Or is it the first unit?
No, you must
return fire. So therefore, you must the first time you have to do it because that's your ability.
First time, got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So you can definitely bait it out. So then definitely, okay, yeah. So no. But see, again, you put them, okay. So let's say you put them in a squad of 10 las cannons. What the fuck are you going to bait that with?
Dead men.
That's 20 las cannon shots coming back to you.
A throwaway unit. Or something that has, what's it called? Indirect fire weapons. That's hiding.
Oh, I didn't even think like a Scorpius.
If it's indirect, then you don't have to return because you can't shoot them.
Oh yeah, you don't have to because you can't shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't react against something you can't react against.
I don't think that's true. I don't think shooting reactions specify you need to see the unit shooting you.
I'm gonna look up the damn reaction. I'm looking at right here.
Take a look.
So you cannot make a reaction if you are pinned, locked in combat, you already made a reaction, you exhausted your reaction.
Under shooting reaction. These are the first
now,
line tells you.
The return fire says you cannot use indirect fire weapons, but it does not say that you need line of sight to return fire. So you return fire and shoot nothing.
Hold on. You guys continue while I look at the shit.
Gentlemen's rules always play to your own detriment.
Yeah, but
yeah. So now this Warlord trait, it's okay. It's more fun when you have a unit that can re-roll misses, or at least the ones. And if you're running Hammer of Olympia, all shrapnel weapons re-roll ones to hit. So that gives you a 1 in 36 chance of overheating, and then a 1 in 3 chance on a normal guy to fail the save. So the risk factor is very low. The downside is you have very little control over that reaction, and you don't get a reaction outside of that reaction. Like you get the free reaction, but it's not truly free. You know?
Yeah. I mean, to me, for this thing, I don't take this on my unit of regular bolter guys. I take this on someone with. I'm less concerned about losing my other reactions on a squad that wants to maybe be more near the back with a heavier, better type of weapon, because if they're getting charged, I'm already having a really bad day kind of thing. So I'm not worried about the lack of other reactions. I'm not going to get him in the movement phase because I'm standing in the back. I'm not getting him in the assault phase because I'm standing in the back. You're getting through the rest of my army first. If you can be baited out with indirect, I mean, I don't think there's tons and tons of indirect, so I don't think it is a problem if that is the case. However, I don't think that is the end-all be-all just because of the amount that it would occur. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
This also does not work with blasts and templates.
So, by the way, I'm still reading the rules, and I'm a little update. I cannot find where
reactions in the shooting phase. Yeah, the reactions in the shooting phase, because normally you have a choice. So they are. I mean, in the movement phase ones, they're worded that you got to be able to see the unit that you're reacting to. I guess the idea here is they leave it vaguer in the shooting phase one, because one of the reactions, evade, would make sense to do even if you don't necessarily see it. You heard the whistle of the mortars coming in or whatever it may be, but you didn't have to see them to do it. So you still have reactions that make sense. Here, you essentially wouldn't. But so here's the thing then. Okay, let's say you do this. Do you actually roll the dice to hit them? No, because they're not there. So you've chosen to do the return fire, let's say.
Right.
But I don't actually roll any dice to hit them because there's no models visible. And the first thing is you target a visible thing.
So then, hold on.
I just think it eats up your reaction, and that's that.
Well, it eats up the. You're
not forced to shoot, but you are forced to return fire. You're also not forced to do the extra shot. That's an optional thing you cannot do.
A model cannot.
You could choose to do the extra shot with.
So, a model that has line. Hold on. Give me a second. A model that has line of sight to at least one enemy unit and is found to be in range of that model can make a shooting attack.
Yeah, return fires, they make
all models in the unit must attack the same unit. If a model cannot attack the same target unit as the other models in the unit, then it cannot attack at all in the shooting phase for that turn. So here's the funny part about so that's from the shooting rules, by the way.
It's following the normal rules for shooting attack.
So then here's the funny part. You shoot them with an interceptor weapon, they literally can't shoot you for that turn. They can't. They lose that shooting phase. Like you literally cannot target someone who is invisible. So I would argue, or I would fall on the side of Dave, where shooting them with a barrage weapon, in fact, does not trigger this reaction. Because you literally
now what if they're out of range?
No, it says line of sight and range.
I know, but what I'm saying is I think you're forced to use the reaction because it says you must return fire.
Okay.
Or make the bitter fury.
But you can't return fire because you can't shoot.
Doesn't matter because the must overrides it. This is more specific, being the unit rule. It overrides the general.
It literally says a model cannot attack.
You must no, but return fire doesn't require you to attack. Nothing about return fire says you must attack. It just allows you to. So you use your quote-unquote free reaction to shoot them and do nothing.
Interesting.
See, yeah, obviously, if it forced them to do it, they wouldn't have to make any rolls. There's no getting hurt. There's nothing like that whatsoever. When I look at it, my back and forth of this is that, okay, it must either make one of those reactions, if possible. This reaction does not cost a reaction point. So, okay, here's the thing, though. It does say if possible. Because if it doesn't take a reaction point, there's no reason they couldn't. I guess technically, unless they've done it before. But okay, if possible. All right. Return fire says they make a shooting attack using all normal rules, which first part is line of sight.
Oh, it does. Yeah. I didn't even. So it doesn't say all normal rules.
So, if you look under return fire,
and
it says the reacting unit may make a shooting attack, targeting the unit that triggered this reaction, following all the usual rules for shooting attacks. The second part of the shooting rules
and the usual rule for shooting attacks
rules for that is choosing a target, line of sight being a thing, and then range. I would say since the reaction is like a normal shooting attack, and you are invalid to do a normal shooting attack, I don't think you'd have to burn it because you.
And now, what if you can't hurt the target? Say your guns are all strength 4, it's a linear.
So here's the question: is there a rule that says you can't attempt to shoot something that you can't hurt?
No, that you can do. So I can shoot my bolters at a Leviathan, do nothing just to shoot the multi-melta.
Well, you're an Iron Warrior. You can't.
Yeah, well, yes. But what I'm saying is that you can bait out. But I think the line of sight thing you can't bait out with a barrage weapon because because I didn't know, I glazed over. They make a normal shooting, follow the same rules as a shooting attack, and literally
always read full sentences.
Yeah, well, no, it's more of I didn't put two and two together. The line of sight thing is, you literally cannot make that shooting attack at all.
Because if
So
if
I
we
don't
if we
think you can
play
make
off
this
the words
reaction.
that, hey, you have to do this, it does say at the end if possible. To me, it's not possible if I don't have them as a target. Now, with the
Yeah.
heavy thing, yeah, if you can't hurt them, okay, then you can't necessarily hurt them,
Well, a
because if
pinned
there's not a
unit
rule that says that you're not
can't
allowed to
return fire because
fire,
they're
but I don't
pinned.
think there's a rule like that.
Like, yeah, let's say you put them in a squad of, I'm going to ignore the fact that they can hurt Leviathans, but let's say you put them in a squad of bolters, right? And the bolters are strength 4, the Leviathan's strength toughness 8. Oh no, you can't hurt it. You can definitely bait it out like that because the bolters go pitter patter. They're in range, they're in line of sight, and there's nothing here that says you can't shoot something because you're fucking pissed off at it because you're still rolling dice. Just you can't get a value above 6, for the wound. But yes, no, because of line of sight. I'm going to say no
I
to
would
that.
say both line of sight and range.
I'm going to say
Because if they're out of range, because otherwise, you shoot me with
oh, yeah,
something
out of
out of
range
my
is this third
range,
one.
am I forced to spend it? I would still say no, because you're not
No.
actually able to attempt the attack. But as soon as anyone is close enough, you can still bait them out with somebody you don't care about as much. But assuming I do feel it should have an FAQ. I would love them to try to stipulate that and be more exact with that and tell us that, yeah, it kind of works this way, or like, oh no, because here's my other thought. If it's the other way, then like it's actually a really, really bad trait to some extent, because I could fire at you with, say, my Volkite Calivers, and your weapon is shorter range than mine. You've now wasted your only reaction. Now I shoot into you. At least the first one,
I
there's
feel like
like
this would
you
be
got
the worst
something,
fight
like
we've seen.
you're getting something out of it. You already have a negative here. You get no other reactions. But then your other negative is like, I could kind of screw you over just by like where I am is better than you. Like, that's a little too much.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, just on the sheer fact that this would actually be to the point, like you would never take this Warlord trait. That's, I would dare say, out of all the Warlord traits we've talked about, this would be literally the worst one if it was played like that. Like no one would ever take this. There'd be no reason to, because there's at least one barrage weapon in the game, or one weapon that outranges you.
It would be, I could see it and still potentially be a thing if it was that, but there was no other restriction. You can make other reactions, because then you put it on a guy who's going to move forward. To me, if I'm taking this, I don't know, I'm probably going balls to the wall and I'm putting on something where I better not roll those ones. I won't roll it every turn, because this will be my squad of last cannons. But on that turn, when I really got to take down something heavy, I'm just going to hope I don't kill too many of my own guys. But I like it, honestly. I like the second one more, but I like this more than the first. That's me.
Same.
All right, skip rights of war. Skip rights of war.
We're on to the Iron Circle. No. Sorry, Armory. Yep.
No, the Armory.
Yep.
Armory.
There we go.
We were just talking
Armory.
about Warsmith.
So, yeah, this one is something unique to the Iron Warriors. It is the Warsmith. Whereas most legions get a console upgrade, Iron Warriors get a Praetor upgrade. The Legion Praetor, Cataphracti Praetor, or Tartarus Praetor can be upgraded to a Warsmith for 20 points. They gain a Cortex controller and a servo arm, as well as Master of the Automata, which allows you to take robots in your army, and Battlesmith 3+ special rules. And I believe the servo arm is an inbuilt +1. I could be wrong though.
Another
a model
Maculator's
upgraded with this. Yeah. Warsmith cannot have a bike, a jet bike, or a jump pack. The Warsmith also is used to unlock Rights of War for the Iron Warriors. He's needed for the Hammer of Olympia, and he's needed for the Hammer of Olympia.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So he's actually needed for one of the rights. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad. Who's the one that has the Machinator array, by the way? Not him, right?
No, it's the Forge Lord.
Yeah, Iron Hands.
Forge Lord. I know we were talking about
that. They're special guys.
I can take over the Graviton shit if you want. Yeah, let's do it, because that sounds
for it. That seems up your alley. Yeah.
Oh, funny enough, because it also matches the mechanical links. So Any model with Iron Warrior special rule in the character subtype may exchange a power weapon for a Graviton Mace, or exchange a Thunder Hammer for a Graviton Crusher for no additional point cost. Additionally, any model with the Legion of Stardust Iron Warrior special rule in Dreadnought unit type may exchange a Gravis Power Fist for a Graviton Maul for 15 points. And this is not replaced or remove the inbuilt weapon, so you could still have like a little multi-Melta Fist. So, the Graviton Mace is Strength User, AP 3, Melee, and Haywire. Correct me if I'm wrong, that is... hold on.
You lose the strength bonus.
You lose the strength bonus, but you gain AP 3, and you gain Haywire.
You may not lose the strength bonus because you're replacing
a power AP
weapon.
3. You lose 2 points.
True.
But power swords do not
power
give
swords
plus
are AP 3.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is power swords are also AP 3.
Yeah, so is this thing.
Compared to a power mace. That's what the analog is. The analog power mace.
You gain Haywire
so
for
you lose
free.
2 strength, gain Haywire. Which means you wound Dreadnoughts on 2s, and you're AP 2 against Dreads because they can only use Invulnerables. Because Haywire is dope.
I think Haywire ignores Invulns.
No, Haywire ignores armor saves on a 2 through 5, and on a 6 it ignores Invulns.
I know 6 is to penetrate. Yeah, look up Haywire. So you gain Haywire, which I know, first of all, I know that that's good. The Thunder Hammer, which is normally strength times 2, now the Graviton Crusher is plus 2 strength. So you lose that strength. You go from strength 8 to strength 6. You're still AP 2, which is wonderful. You're unwieldy, two-handed, and still Haywire. So, and then let me just talk about the Graviton Maul before I talk about the Graviton Maul. Instead of, again, strength 10, you become strength plus 2. AP 2, melee, brutal 2, hay. So basically, they add Haywire. You lose strength, but you gain Haywire.
Yep.
And what is it? 6 is to penetrate, correct?
Yeah. So,
go ahead, read it.
6 is penetrate and no saves of any kind.
Okay.
2 through 5 is glancing and only invulnerables and damage mitigation.
So this is one of the few weapons where I'd say I'd trade it out every single time. Honestly, yes. So Thunderhammers are strength 8, AP 2. Are they brutal?
No.
Thunderhammers brutal? I can't remember.
No,
they're not.
I don't think so,
yeah, no,
actually.
Thunderhammers are brutal.
Actually,
Thunderhammers are brutal? Okay.
Thunderhammers are brutal.
So would I change this for Ooh, that's a hard decision. Because the free upgrade.
A free upgrade on something you've already spent a bunch of points on.
No, it's 15 points only for the Dreadnought. The rest of it is free.
You changed out your Thunderhammer, which you paid points for most likely. That's what I mean.
Oh, it's Thunderhammer points on the turn. Okay, then okay. So
yeah, brutal 2.
You lose the strength 8. You lose the instant kill of multi-wound Terminators. You're still AP 2, which is good. That's still good. But you gain Haywire, which is now basically no matter what vehicle you charge, you're killing.
Not necessarily.
Because it's multiple Haywire hits. Well, no, because it's multiple Haywire hits. It doesn't matter what strength you are. You can be strength fucking. It can be strength -4. It doesn't mean. But what I'm saying is, let's say you get that one penetrate, you could still explode it if you want because it's AP 2. What I'm saying is, no matter what, you could be strength -4. I mean, no, it's not strength 0, but you go strength -3, and it still would glance a vehicle to hit. You know what I mean? I would take this over a Thunderhammer. I'm going to fall on that side of the field. I would take this over a Thunderhammer. Let me explain why. So yes, you lose the instant kill, right? But then I kind of, in my head, I'm like, how many multi-wound things do you need to insta-kill in this game? Like, how many times are you going to charge?
Legion squads, Terminator squads.
That's it. Most other, there are some special units that are still wound 1, like Head Seekers. So, insta-kill, okay, that's cool, but, there are other things that can insta-kill. So you're still strength 6, you're still wounding most shit on a 2, infantry on a 2, you're still AP 2, so you're bypassing their armor save, and now you have the added bonus of being Haywire, so now it doesn't matter what vehicle you charge, what automata you charge, it literally doesn't matter, you will glance it and or penetrate it to death. I say it's an auto up, I think that's an auto take. I think it's an auto take for me.
I think the Graviton Maul is an auto take because the Graviton Maul doesn't actually lose out on strength compared to a Gravis Fist.
Although it does lose a brutal.
The Gravis Power Fist. You lose
brutal.
You lose one brutal for Haywire, which I think is worth it.
Okay. I agree.
Only because when you get those 6s in, that's unsavable, which means your opponent can get lucky on the 5-ups with their own dreads.
I agree.
And just strength 10 against them anyway with the fist, so meh. Still crushing anything if you didn't have to use Haywire.
Yeah,
What about the Graviton Crusher? I was expecting you to talk about the You said you would auto take the Graviton Wall, but what about the Crusher?
I don't think it's an auto take. I do not.
Not so much, because the loss of brutal is huge. You throw a unit with Graviton Crusher in against Fire Drake Terminators, it's over. Because Fire Drakes have a 3-up pinball.
No, but here's the thing. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
At least with the brutal too, you could get models squashed through weight of dice. This does not give you weight of dice. And
Fire Drakes are like the odd example.
The unit I would put this on, a Breacher squad, can't even use it because boarding shields cannot be paired with two-handed weapons.
Two-handed weapons, yeah. Counterpoint to what you said, Fire Drakes are the exception to that, because Fire Drakes are supposed to be the 3-up invulnerable Thunderhammer bullshit, kind of, they're super hard to kill, right? That's their job. But let's say you throw this against, a normal Terminator Cataphracti squad, or even just a normal specialized one like the Keshig.
You just need to force 2 wounds through to kill one guy instead of having one wound that you roll. But 2 chances to kill one guy.
These are still AP.
It's literally a quarter the effectiveness.
But if you're facing someone who takes 3 or 4 contemptors, this is automatically pays.
If you're rolling against,
I still don't know, because it's doing just the 1 wound per time instead of potentially getting 2.
No, not 1 wound. Isn't Haywire per? If a Terminator has 3 attacks, that's 3 Haywire rolls.
Right. Yeah. But with a Thunderhammer, because remember, getting +1 strength, you're strength 9 on 7, you're wounding on 2s. It's 2 saves per hit instead of 1 thing.
Remember, the Haywire doesn't take over the. So just real quick, the Haywire doesn't replace the wounds. No, it does not.
Instead of rolling normally, you do Haywire.
Oh, I did not. Okay, so hold on. Let me see where this Haywire rule is. I did not.
240 is the main book.
What page?
Page 240, bottom left.
Oh wow, I was really close. Jesus.
Haywire, it's not quite there.
Into wound. Oh yeah. Never mind. Hold on. But still, that's 3.
I don't think it's automatic, because the weapon you're replacing, there is some distinction. If you are worried about going against like tons of vehicles, this has good upsides. But when you're going against infantry, no, it's worse. It is categorically worse. But yeah, against heavy things, it's better.
Okay, the Graviton Maces on a Terminator squad could be worth it, because it's free. The Crushers, not at all.
I agree. I think the Maces is a good idea.
That's where I stand.
Because there now you can actually hurt the vehicle, where before with the normal power weapons, you were going to struggle. Even with your Iron Warriors +1, you were probably still struggling in a lot of senses for heavier vehicles. The Crusher, I
would do like 3 Maces and then 2 normal Thunderhammers. Because the Maces are going to bounce off of 2-up save units, except for Dreadnoughts. And then the Thunderhammers, that you maintain the 2-up armor save crushing potential of the squad.
Like a 1-to-2 ratio. For every 2 Thunderhammers, you take 1 mace. That's basically what you're saying.
The other way around, but 2 maces, 1 hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 maces, 1 hammer. I agree with that. Mostly because as a Custodians player, I used to do that with my Custodians. I used to take 2. It was 1 fist to 2 swords. Is how I would take it.
Yeah.
So I agree. The 1-to-2 ratio is a really good rate.
All right.
What
do I got then? Yeah, I got this.
This
shrapnel weapons here.
I love this.
Weapons.
I love this. The shrapnel weapons.
Go ahead.
This changed from the playtest documents.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people are conflating rules, and I think Battle Scribe is currently wrong. Someone was saying on one of the Facebook groups.
Well, talk about it and see what I want to.
Okay, so shrapnel weapons are a Olympian special, designed to detonate before impact, giving a ton of shrapnel instead of the normal internally explosive rounds. Any Iron Warrior. Okay, so characters can replace normal bolters and bolt pistols for shrapnel bolters and shrapnel pistols
Independent characters.
for free. Yep, independent characters. Squads can replace all the pistols, the shrapnel pistols, and or all bolters to the shrapnel ones, and or all heavy bolters to the shrapnel ones for 2 points per weapon.
Okay.
And all examples have to be changed. So if you are upgrading a squad of tactical marines, it's 2 points per guy if it's just the bolter, 4 points per guy if it's bolter and pistol. And if you do a destroyer squad, it's 4 points per guy because they each have 2 bolt pistols.
Do dreadnoughts? Oh yeah, I was reading the next paragraph. Dreadnoughts
vehicles can upgrade all heavy bolters for 2 points, and dreadnoughts can upgrade the bolt cannon to the shrapnel cannon for 5 points.
Okay. I'm still wondering how people conflate this because I'm like looking at the special rules.
Hold on. I'll get there. The rule changed. So shrapnel pistols are range 10, strength 4, no AP, pistol 1, pinning. What people are getting mixed up on is in a play test, it was shred, not pinning.
Wow. Well, people just need to read the fucking. I mean, no offense to the people, but like.
The problem is people are referencing Battlescribe because using these books to find rules is kind of pain in the ass.
Oh, because Battlescribe has. Okay, now I'm understanding because I'm looking at like.
And the Thousand Suns ones have shred.
Yes,
so like there is a special bolter that does shred.
Okay, because I'm looking at this, I'm like,
so like between all of that's where it's getting mixed up.
Okay, that's why I was confused because I'm like, how do you confuse pinning for any? Like, I don't think there's even another P word.
It's because it changed from playtest 3 to final release.
Got it.
That's
okay,
why.
That makes sense. Which, in my opinion, by the way, I like pinning more than shred, but that's a different entirely.
You can actually
shred is probably stronger. But pinning is nice. When it happens, pinning is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Shred is more consistent.
Pinning is more. I was gonna say pinning is more not lopsided. God, Dave said this last week. I forgot the word. It's more. No, the word like more one side or the other.
Is the best word.
Like black and white. Lopsided, yeah. It's more lopsided. It works. It doesn't. There's no like in between. Whereas shred has that. It's overall in between better. But pinning is great. Pinning
is nice, but you are losing range, and you're losing.
I was gonna say you're losing range. That's what I thought.
The pistols have a 10-inch range. The bolters have an 18-inch range. The heavy bolters have a 24-inch range, and then the dreadnought keeps its 36, I think. Yeah,
and loses a shot.
Does it gain a shot though?
Yeah,
loses a shot. Okay, good. All right.
Shots. Yeah,
because they're at heavy 6. All right. I'm not gonna say auto take on this, although, but paired well.
So hold on.
Uh-oh.
Iron Warriors are very, very much written around their rights of war, with their war gear options, with all their upgrades, because in the Hammer of Olympia Right of War, all shrapnel weapons reroll 1s to hit. All of a sudden, it's worth the 2 points.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would only be worth it as a side grade for free.
Okay.
Because the Thousand Suns one, I believe, is free, and they get shred, which is arguably more reliable.
But if you run the Right of War, this becomes a lot. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes. And the other thing is, with that Right of War, you replace Fury of the Legion on your tactical squads with Fury of Olympia. And Fury of Olympia only works on shrapnel weapons. It's the same idea, but shrapnel, and you get to walk forwards and use it.
Okay, so basically you replace everything with shrapnel. Okay, so then, like, listen, if you get an extra shot with the shrapnel, and you also reroll 1s to hit, then I'd say worth it. And especially because the Right of War is almost making it worth it.
But it's worth it in the Right of War, not as I'm going to play whatever other setup you want. And I'm going to give this squad shrapnel rounds. And you shoot, and they pass all 8 of their saves because you're a basic bolter, and just go, oh.
How much is a heavy bolter for a dreadnought?
It's free.
Out of stupid curiosity.
Free.
So plus 10 points or plus 5 points for pinning and losing attack? It's not bad.
Yeah.
And losing AP. And
I mean,
while you might not feel it,
AP5.
while you will not notice it against other Marines, when Mechanicum drops, you will notice the loss of AP4.
Mechanicum is 4
Heavy
up,
bolters, AP
so you're not
Yeah.
really worried.
And your heavy
Yeah,
bolters
heavy
are now
bolters are
6.
4? Oh, yeah, no, God.
They're normally
you're
4.
right. Yeah. I thought it was a 5.
You're
Oh, yeah,
gonna
no.
feel it.
Oh, God, no.
You're
Yeah.
gonna feel it. But in Hammer of Olympia, it's fantastic. And it pairs well with the Lysatra Warlord trait, because you have to re-roll those ones you roll for Gets Hot on those giant squads.
True.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, that kind of feels like the combination you want to take that with.
Yeah, but like you literally write your list around it. It's one of those deals. It's good, but it is your list.
Yes. Okay.
Whereas the Graviton, you could sprinkle in. Warsmith is just a nice, fun, fluffy thing otherwise. So yeah, Warsmith for 20 points, Shrapnel Weapons, 20 points a squad to 40 points a squad. It adds up, but it's effective. It is definitely effective. All right. Now we can finally get on to units.
We're gonna skip Primarchs just as we did before. We are going to do a separate thing later, sort of discussing them / tier, all that kind of stuff. But we'll get to that. So that puts us to the Iron Circle Maniple.
Yes, I will 1000% take this. This is the unit that I wish Mechanicum had. I don't even fucking care about the rules. I think they just look amazing. I would trade my Domitars for these guys in a heartbeat. Not for the rules. I don't give a fuck about the rules. Literally for just the way they look. Because god damn, they look cool. This is probably my favorite unit in the game. Top 5.
My favorite unit in the game, and then suddenly went to top 5.
Top 5. Top 5 favorite
that's
unit.
That's the way we say it in English. There you go.
Yeah. So, movement 8, weapon skill 4, which does suck, but weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 7, toughness 7, wounds 5, initiative 3, attack 3, leadership 8, save 3. One Dominator is 150 points. So they are pricey. They're armed with 3 weapons.
But cheaper than Dreadnoughts.
They're cheaper than They are cheaper than Dreadnoughts. I will put that out. I dare say better. But so they're shrapnel cannon, graviton maul, and they have a battle shield. I'm not going to say that. Kasseri probably. They are cybernetica and heavy. They're an automata. They are relentless. They have hammer of wrath, just straight 3. They are moving bulwark and shield of the iron tyrant. And you can get an additional for cheaper discount of 135 points a pop. An additional 5, I should say. So let's talk about the shield first. The shield basically grants them a 5 up. So they don't have, I should point out, they don't have the normal rule of a atomantic shielding. So let's talk about what they do have. So they have a 5 up invulnerable save.
Instead.
Yeah, exactly. They have a 5 up invulnerable save from their shield. And basically, if they suffer an unsaved wound with the instant death special rule, they're not immediately removed as a casualty. They suffer D3 wounds instead. Which makes it seem then why not just take the automatic shield? And it's the same fucking thing. Well, because in addition, any charges that target the unit that include one of our models equipped with this shield, and they're not locked in combat already, or basically receive a disordered charge. You lose that attack, and you also technically lose any bonuses you get to charging as well. So pretty big. The moving bulwark special rule. So basically, if they are in base contact with another Iron Circle robot, their invulnerable save gets increased by 1 to 4+. So to basically shield wall them. Shield of the Iron Tyrant. So an Iron Circle Maniple composed of at least 3 models may be selected as a retinue squad in a detachment that includes Perturabo instead of an elite choice. An Iron Circle Maniple selected as a retinue squad counts Perturabo as the leader. Okay, so basically they kind of retinue. I should point out that they also gain the 5 up feel no pain, though, if Perturabo's in the army and they join Perturabo. So basically an Iron Sword or Mechanical that they can't leave, by the way, Perturabo at all.
Yeah,
they have to stay with him
standard
forever. Exactly. But they gain feel no pain. So I mean, if you're playing a big boy game and you're taking Perturabo with Iron Circle anyway, it's just a bonus, honestly. 5 up feel no pain on a toughness 7 model, unless you're instant deathing them with not only instant death, but
Murderous Strike.
Shit, what do Paragon Blades have? I always forget the Murderous Strike. You're getting their feel no pain.
Now you have to be careful because they're part of the same unit as Perturabo. They count towards the 25% Primarchs and Lords of War limit.
Yes. And they're the cybernetic unit type, which funny enough, this is the cool part. We've actually talked about this. If you listen to our podcast about Mechanicum leaks, it is literally the exact same. I'll really quickly go over it. They have the programmed behavior. Wait, fun fact, did they put programmed behavior in the main rulebook?
No, I don't think so.
No.
So, fun fact. So. Does anyone... So someone who runs this, do they know what programmed behavior is?
No, they say it right after.
That rule out, did they? No.
Yeah, but they tell you
true,
exactly
but I'm just
what
like usually
they say, "Oh, here's what you do."
Okay, usually they put programming. Okay, I just find it funny that they whatever. So yeah, the program behavior rule is the same thing we said. You can move wherever you want, but you must shoot the closest target, and you must charge the closest target. And if you're equal, you get to choose. You can model with the cybernetic units may fire all weapons they are equipped with, including as part of a reaction. This rule does not allow them to make reactions otherwise, because basically they're robots. They can shoot heavy and ordnance as counted as stationary. They may declare charges if they shot, and I believe they ignore any initiative characteristics when charging into or through difficult or dangerous terrain.
Now, as automata, they cannot make reactions.
Yeah, it should put out as automata, they can't make reaction.
But theoretically, could have Cybernetica that is not automata, which is why
that's why they put it in there. But like I said before, this is just more indication about how close the leaks were to reality. But yeah, no, I love this.
You actually basically get frag grenades as part of it.
Yes, that is
That's a pretty substantial thing.
Yes. No, I love this unit. They're expensive, but they do what they do, and they do it well. It sucks that their weapons go 4, I will say, because then you might, you kind of want to throw them. Yeah, I know, but you want to throw them elite units, so you hit them on 5s, which does kind of suck. But let's be honest, you're hitting them with a Graviton Maul, which
they're
becomes
a damage soak unit. They have 5 wounds apiece, toughness 7, immunity to instant death.
I mean, for fuck's sake, they're brutal 2 and haywire at strength 9. They touch something and it's gonna die. I don't know who wins in a Contemptor fight against this though. So Contemptors are
the Contemptor because it hits on 3s and the Iron Circle hit on 5s.
But this is a 4-up invulnerable. And let's say, ignoring the charge, by the way, let's ignore the charge because one has Hammer of Wrath and one makes you disordered. I'm not going to even count that.
You'd have at least 2 Iron Circle to get the 4-up, though.
No, ignore the 4. No, I'm saying 5-up. They both have. I said 4. Both have 5-up. But he has Haywire and Brutal 2.
Yeah, the other one has Brutal 3.
Although I think the Contemptor has 4. Does the Contemptor have 3 attacks or 4 attacks?
They're both the same number of attacks. They're both 3 attacks. So
I don't know.
It's going to be harder for the Iron Circle to hit, but easier. It'll be easier to wound because it's going to wound on 2s.
No, but they're both wounding on 2s. They're both wounding on 2s.
Sorry, yeah. Both wound on 2s.
I forgot
the Iron Circle has
ignore the Gravis is strength 9.
So no, I mean in that case, the Contemptor overall would make it. Its invul is worse, but it's worse by 1, but it's going to make you take an extra save. And it's,
Does the
weapon skill is what makes it go.
Yeah, because it'd be 3s and 2s or 5s and 2s.
Does the brutal affect Haywire? No, right? Does brutal affect haywire? No, right? Because it's not a wound roll. You don't do 2 haywire rules for every wound.
No.
Right?
So brutal is when you take a wound, you take 2
Yeah,
saves
so it'd be
against it.
taking 2 invul saves.
It works with haywire perfectly fine
Okay.
because the haywire says you only take basically restricts how you save against it and
Exactly.
allows you to
So-
wound on 2s.
If you roll a 6,
not-
that's 2 auto wounds.
Hey, so brutal doesn't tell you take that many wounds. You take that many saves.
No, but let's say you roll a 6.
Right. But haywire on a
Yeah.
6, there's no saves of any kind.
Okay.
Yeah, no saves of any kind. Which was saying, let's
But
say I
even
roll.
then, you have to do that 3 times to kill a contemptor.
True, but what I'm saying is, like, you roll that 6,
Contemptor only
that's
has to
2 auto
hit you
wounds.
twice.
Yeah, and all he has to do is hit you.
Oh, because it's
Because
brutal
remember,
3. You're right.
And also,
Yeah, because
Yeah, you're right.
you would get the 2 through on that brutal. Sorry, I've been going too much against guys where when they fail any save, I just double them out anyway. But yeah, so yeah, you'll get
Just
the
double them out and kill
extras. But remember, you're only hitting on 5, so you're hoping then for 5s and 6s. You know, you're talking about 2 and 9.
True.
So you're going to need multiple rounds, and the other guy's going to do it on 3s and 2s for that level of an aspect. No, the weapon
Exactly.
skill is what causes the other one to win.
Yeah, I
But it
agree.
is more points, so
Alright.
25 more
Okay,
points. So it does
okay.
make sense that it should be better win. Plus, it's got the
It's
extra
true.
wound. It's still very good.
All right. What's next?
hold on. So one thing before we continue. Iron Circle, lore-wise, make me very, very frustrated with a great many people. Because
I know
everyone
what
goes,
you're
oh my god, Iron Circle are so cool. Here's the thing. They were developed by Perturabo after the heresy began and given out to his lieutenants to keep an eye on them and kill them if they happen to stray away from his orders too far. Every fucking loyalist Iron Warrior munchkin I know, he goes, oh, I'm going to do some Iron Circle, and it just causes me physical pain. You know who you are, and I know you're listening.
I'm
people do stuff
surprised.
that's
So
fun.
here's the funny part. I'm
I
surprised you didn't give
think
him
that
the
there
traitor
should
rule.
genuinely be a traitor tag. There
I'm
should be a traitor
actually
tag.
very surprised they don't have the traitor tag because I know about Iron Circle. I know that they're Perturabo specific, and they kill anyone who's a loyalist. So I'm very surprised they do not have the traitor tag.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts my soul.
I knew you were gonna. I'm surprised you didn't mention it sooner.
I mean,
I don't want to start this unit off on a sour note because it's a really cool unit. Just know that you
do
will
it.
be put down.
They look cool. Do what you want. Play for fun.
Yes, but they do look cool. I'm sorry. Like, I on one hand, I'm like, yeah, the fluff sucks, but on the other hand, I'm like, God damn, that model does look cool. I should point out, by the way, the biggest problem with the model are the hammers. Like the
Things
very
gonna come
skinny
in thin
hammer
as shit.
does suck.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get all floppy because of their resin,
Yeah, that hammer's
and it's gonna sit in your car, and it's gonna
Yeah.
melt.
it's gonna look like a boomerang when it arrives to you. The bend that thing's gonna have, but they are cool. And now, if you're a loyalist Iron Wars player, play, have
Alright.
fun, do cool stuff. Don't listen to these.
The next ones, I love the next unit as well. These are my
And the
again.
last
Yeah.
unit that we got in the
This one.
book, Tyrant Siege Terminators, because we got no
Nope.
name characters on launch. Hey,
Yeah, fuck you.
all right.
And the horse you rode
Tyrant
on.
Siege Terminator squads. I'll cover these guys
No,
super
no,
fast
go
unless
ahead.
Dave really wants to. All right, so Tyrant Siege Terminators are absolutely normal Terminators, except for one thing. They got
Yup.
rocket launchers on their backs. It's a whole squad, all kitted out with the Cyclone missile launchers. And this time, they get flak missiles. So yeah, it's literally just a standard Terminator squad, but they come stock with power fists that they could upgrade to chain fists for 5 points a model. The first 5 guys are 300 points. So you're paying 125 point tax for effectively 10 missile launchers. Not the worst trade. Not a bad trade at all.
Fire their
Not
combi
quite as
bolters
much
too,
of
I
a
should point
tax,
out.
though,
They got fire
because where are these boys? Let's take a look at this.
It's
thing.
not.
Yeah, I would say because it's the
Oh,
power
and the power
fist as
fists.
well.
That's a
Power
10
fist
point
normally
upgrade per model.
10 points, so that's an extra 50. So you're looking at
Yeah, so it's 50
225, so
points.
it's 75 points more.
So you're paying 75 points.
And these guys do at least have fire and
Yeah.
protocols too.
75 points to add 10 missiles. Yup. So they can shoot
Yeah.
their bolters and their missiles. Yup. Let's see. So some things changed around. They lost from last edition. They lost the option to take combat weapons other than bolters. But they gained the ability to replace the bolter and power weapon for lightning claws, which is an interesting one.
Oh,
And
okay.
now, for some reason, the sergeant can take a grenade harness.
Because they can do melee. Lightning claws. Listen, people make fun of me. I hated
Right,
lightning
but
claws.
where does the grenade launcher go? Where does it go?
He shoots it out of his fucking tits. I don't give a shit. You know how small those grenade launchers? All you need to do is frag grenade. Like it's a fucking he shoots it out of his wrist like the Hilarious Custodians do. I don't fucking know.
And then let's see. So the Siege Master, which is the unit leader, also gains an Omniscope as a piece of war gear, which allows you to ignore all effects of night fighting. And when you make an interceptor, you do not use up your reaction. So essentially, it's a
so fucking good.
I'm blanking on the names. Augury scanner, but better.
Yeah.
It's a couple of those upgrades altogether.
Yeah. It's a solid unit.
I would say that is a solid.
Because
is one of my favorite pieces of war gear.
Yeah.
The ignoring night fighting is
solid unit.
Like ignoring night fighting is already good enough because that ignores the range and the ballistic skill and the leadership, which is great. Ignoring or making interceptor basically free is just so good.
It's worth 10 points. It's worth 10 points.
All right, no, but making the interceptor free, not the omniscope. Wait, the omniscope is not 10 points. Wait, what?
No. I'm saying the ability to interceptor for free is worth 10 points.
Oh yes. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
Yup.
The missile is the same, right? I'm not stupid,
general?
right? It's still
No, it's better.
No, in general, it's now a like
crack missiles are
because crack is 8 heavy 2.
1. These are heavy 2.
Well, they got the 2 missiles on their back, so it is. I understand the heavy. Is a frag
Heavy
missile heavy 2 on a normal missile launcher?
This is heavy 4.
Oh, so this.
So instead of being blast, it's 4 shots.
Which, please, thank God. I remember someone had a 10 unit siege tyrant and shot I think it was 20 small blasts. I wanted to die. It was the most time consuming shit in the world.
And they're pinning now.
That's based on frag too. Frag is pinning.
And the Skyfire is real nice too. Skyfire is really, really nice too because a lot of the armor values and point values went down for flyers. Like flyers are still as dangerous, but they're easier to take down, especially with intercept. The fact that they have Skyfire and can intercept for free, like if my Xiphon comes in and you have a unit of 5 of these assholes, Xiphon is gone. I don't know, 48 inches. You could
I will say one thing to the detriment of Tyrant Siege Terminators is that Ultramarines in the PDF release stole them and gave them better missiles, which makes me very sad.
I knew you were going to say that, and I brought up the Ultramarine PDF because I know we were comparing. You know me
so well, Dan.
What happened?
You know me so well.
Yeah, I was like, because I was like, this sounds a lot like the Ultramarines. We didn't talk about them yet, but I do want to point them out because I know we didn't talk about Ultramarines yet, but just bear with me. There's a reason why. So I knew you were going to say that. So the Ultramarine missiles are Strength 8 AP 2, right? Brutal 2, which is amazing. Yeah. Heavy 1 though, 24 inches.
That's completely fine. That is completely fine because they are AP 2.
And listen, I think it's
they'll be instant deathing motherfuckers left and right.
Yeah, and I agree, but the Brutal 2 is great. But here you have 2 shots, Strength 8. Like, I would use their crack missiles against more...
The Ultramarines get a +1 on the vehicle damage table. Tyrant Siege Terminators do not.
That is true.
Yeah.
The stripping of AP2
has neutered so many
before you brought it up.
Yeah. Makes me a sad. Actually makes me a bitter boy. Very bitter. Kind of salty.
So yeah, that works actually
very fitting
perfectly.
for the Legion. So no special characters in the book.
All right. So
That's really it. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's it
go
for
ahead.
them. We do have some other ones because they did release that other document.
PDF.
Exactly. I was gonna go.
So
Yeah.
we'll go to that.
Yes.
Two
So which one do
documents.
you want to go to? Do you want to go to Armors of Renown?
Exemplary battles.
Yeah, let's go to
I think
Exemplary.
we've been doing them first. So,
do you want to
we
do it?
go to the Exemplary Battles PDF, page 4.
Mhm.
You have the Iron Warriors Dominator Cohort. It's a 0-1 choice. You can only include this unit once in your army. These guys are the precursors to the Iron Circle.
Yes.
They were Perturabo's bodyguards until
They
they kind of fucked up at the Battle of Fall, and Perturabo got attacked by Imperial Fists. This led him to become very, very mad. Golg dies, and he goes, the other guy, you're disgraced. You're no longer part of my inner circle. Can promote other guys to take your places. Dominator Cohort, you have lost your place of privilege as my bodyguards. You are going to be replaced by these robots. So,
not even. I should put up. They didn't even get stripped. They didn't even get like. They didn't just get insulted. They got literally stripped of like. They didn't just go down a rank. They got stripped of like everything. Yep. Like he didn't just like. All right, you're demoted. He goes, you're trash now. So I just want to point that out.
They can still be his retinue.
Yeah, they can, because you could play a game pre-Battle of Fall.
Yeah, pre-battle, exactly. But anyway, let's talk.
Yes. So, yes, the Armory Dominator Cohort, the premier of the Tyranticos. So standard Cataphracti stat line, but they are weapon skill 5. And they are all leadership 9, not just the leader, because there is no unit leader. What? Well, that's because it's a command squad, it has chosen warriors, it has all that good stuff. They come stock with combi bolters and thunder hammers, and this is all for only a 50 points bump. I think they're
not even a 50-point bump.
Hold on, you forgot my favorite special rule.
15 points?
You're missing.
Well, I'm getting that. Listen, just already it's a steal. Okay, for 50 points, you're upgrading the thunder hammers, which means you're saving 25 points on thunder hammers, and you're also getting weapon skill increases. Beautiful. You lose an attack on the sergeant. Big whoop.
Yeah. Who cares?
For the special rules, they have relentless like normal. They have true stubborn, not the fake stubborn and inexorable rule. They have hatred automata. So in the first round of combat, they re-roll hits against automata models. It's great. It's so much fun.
They hate the fact that replaced.
They took those jobs. Once honored, they literally took their jobs. Robots took my job.
That's exactly their jobs.
Those once honored, bulky 2, chosen warriors. So chosen warriors, anyone could accept a challenge. Those once honored is the whole thing. Talk about them being a retinue squad for Perturabo instead of an elite's choice. And if you do that, you get 6 up, feel no pain, and lose the hatred rule. And if you do that, you cannot include any Iron Circle because you're playing a force set pre-Battle of Fall. Because this is first and foremost a narrative game. All right. Transports, they could take a Land Raider Proteus as long as it's 5 miles or less. It does not have the Spartan option for larger squads.
Well, no, you can still take a Spartan. It's just it can't be a dedicated.
Right. Well, right, but the standard Terminators do.
Yes, standard Terminators have that as a dedicated.
They can. Yep. So you don't have the Spartan option by default. You take up to 5 additional guys at 40 points each. For every 5, one of them can replace a combi bolter with a heavy flamer or Reaper autocannon. That's pretty standard. Or the main reason I love this unit, you could give them a multi-melta.
Yep.
Which gives you a multi-melta they could walk around with and shoot, which is just fun. It's extra fun on Iron Warriors because you're getting +1 strength. So it's a strength 9 multi-melta, and wherever you look at is going to turn to slag. Thunderhammer for his Chain Fist is a free swap. Don't forget, because they are Iron Warriors, you can replace their Thunderhammers with the Graviton Crushers. For free. Maybe consider 1 or 2, but I I'm not convinced. So maybe skip it. And then additionally,
Oh, man,
any
I
of
don't
them
know.
can replace their combi bolters with either a magna combi weapon or a minor combi weapon. Those being, your meltas, plasmas, or your flamers, volkites, and grenade launchers.
Yep. I mean, it's a good unit.
It's a fun unit. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Fluffy.
I'll put it this way: I never ran Terminators until this unit came out. I went, holy shit! I have a multi-melted Terminator. That's fucking rad. Let's go.
Yeah, they're good. They're
They're
good.
fun.
They're cheaper for what they outfit them with.
I think they're competitive.
You actually get to save some points.
Yup. The only downside is that it restricts your outfitting, but that's not that bad.
No, for the points cost, I think it's fine. Again, you don't want to necessarily throw these guys against certain giant blob squad stuff like that because some weapons might be able to just cut through more. But yeah, they have the let me take a look. They have the weapon skill bump though, so they're cheaper and they get the extra weapon skill bump. So yeah, actually even
They
throwing
do.
these guys against a giant squad, yeah, your thunder hammers, you're only going to say let's say you didn't charge anything, like only 2 attacks each or something like that. You're not getting those rerolls, but I am hitting you easier. And I'm wounding you on 2s if it's a giant squad. So you can still throw them wherever you want. These guys are actually very good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love these guys. They're fun. It's a shame you only had one unit.
It makes sense. If you were allowed more than one unit, these guys would be 300 points. It'd be the standard special Terminators.
I like them.
Points cost.
Yeah. No, I like them. They're good.
I like them a lot. This is one of the good ones.
And they're fluffy, so I can't even be mad.
Yeah. All right.
Here's the weird one about the next. So do you want to do the Iron Circle before or Iron Circle, Iron Havocs before
Yes.
the
I will go through the
Tormentor?
Iron Havocs if that's what you mean.
Yeah,
Havocs.
I'll do the Tormentor.
Well,
I was going to do
either
the
way,
Tormentor.
I'm going in the list that I have written down, so that way I can do my timestamps easier. So that's the order that we're doing things in.
Oh no, good. It's more of like I don't know why the Tormentor came first, but okay,
they can do what they want. All right, so look at these
exactly.
these Iron Havocs. So 135 points for 5 guys. Standard Marine profile for most extent, although they are Ballista skill 5, so they do have a better Ballista skill. They have shrapnel cannons, which we went through, so it's your essentially shrapnel style heavy bolter. Bolt pistol, frag and crack, their power armor, and they have a Ferrum Ocularis, which we'll get to. Heavy, which is nice. Dedicated transport. If there's no more than 10, they can take a Rhino. They are 20 points each for an additional guy. You can take out the 5 more, so you can go up to 10. They can take the sort of, the Vexilla, the scanner, the standard things for an infantry style unit. All models in this unit may exchange their shrapnel cannon for one of the following. So you can switch everyone to an autocannon if you want. We talked before about how autocannons aren't necessarily a bad option for these guys because, or just in the army in general, because what you might be targeting at or wanting to target those at, you'll get the +1 strength, so you have that better strength on those. You can swap out to missile launchers for 5 extra points or last cannons for 15. The sergeant can take sort of standard sergeant things, and he can take the artificer armor once. He's the one who can take the Nunzio Vox. So you can get one in the unit, but actually goes on him, and he can take his melta bombs. For that, Ocularis, shooting attacks made with a weapon with the heavy type by model with Ferrum Ocularis gain a precision strikes 6+ special rule, as long as the attack is not made part of a reaction or snapshot. So essentially, as long as you stood there and shot normally, you actually have precision shots on a 6. So you guys have played before. Me, I kind of like these guys, based with their shrapnel cannons. Or I could see even going to like the missile launcher, because I kind of like that as well. I think the last cannon you might be just getting a little bit too expensive. That's pretty standard for their cost, but for the bonuses these guys get, I'm not actually I think I like them with the shrapnel because if I'm getting precision shots, I want more dice. And this is my way to get the best amount of dice. And that means that maybe I have a better chance at actually getting that pinning because I'm, picking out a little bit more of maybe what I want. Yeah.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Ignoring last edition, I think you absolutely nailed it, and that this unit works exactly the way you say. You load them up, you just keep them with the base shrapnel cannon, and you go, okay, here's 20 dice on 5 guys. In Hammer of Olympia, they'll be re-rolling those ones. Here's 5 precision shots. Take a bunch of saves.
Skill.
And then they take a pinning test afterwards because it's pinning.
With Ballistic Skill 5, they're only missing on ones. And if you took that Hammer of Olympia, now I'm just getting rerolls. So I'm getting, realistically, pretty much everything out of 20 shots. Realistically, you're hitting all but maybe 1. On average, because you're only going to miss like 3, and then 2/3, most of those are going to hit. So
I think where people get salty about this, and I remember talking about this with
the unit they used to be.
Okay. Exactly. People are comparing them with the unit that they used to be. Iron Circle in 1.0 used to be the anti-tank squad. Yeah. Iron Havocs used to be the anti-tank squad. They got the bonuses to attack tanks. They basically took out armored vehicles.
They got tank. Yeah. So they got tank. They used to get tank hunters to re-roll penetration against tanks.
Yeah.
And they got a cover save debuff last edition instead of having the precision shots.
I think
so all cover and jinx saves are -1.
Absolutely.
I think their role is just completely changed. Yes, the role shift. I mean, yes, I understand.
Also used to mix weapons.
Oh, that is true.
They used to mix weapons, and now they don't.
But I mean, honestly,
even if you take at least a couple.
Even if you take them with autocannons, it's a free upgrade. I would still take. I know you guys were making the argument for shrapnel cannons and pinning and the reroll ones, but even with the fucking autocannons, that's still a good unit in my opinion for 135 points.
Here's the argument for the las cannons. It's a fucking sniper rifle. If you roll that 6 to hit,
sniper rifle that will kill.
Pick the sergeant. You go boom, because that's probably doubling out whatever you're targeting.
Now you're looking at 210 for these guys.
That is true.
9,
I'm not
AP2.
opposed to it, but I don't have like last cannon squads right now just because the points. I can't convince myself that that's okay for the moment.
So I ran a las cannon squad and a bolter squad, one of each in my last 2 games. The bolters in general do more work. But wherever the las cannons point themselves at is going to feel it immediately, making them the target the next turn. Honestly, if you don't care about keeping your Warlord alive, attach that one guy to this unit, give them the extra shot on the las cannons, so that they get 2 shots per las cannon with precision shots on 6s.
And hitting on 2s.
And go to town. Yep, just pick something and decide, I'm going to nuke that squad. That squad's dead this turn. Because 10 to 20 las cannon squads will put a hole in pretty much anything.
It's like the old, because that would make it gets hot as well.
The Sun Killers. Yep, that's okay.
It's the old carnivore. You're not going to miss. You hit the enemy and evaporate yourself. Something's dying.
Exactly, and that's always fun. These guys should have been what the Sun Killers are, in my opinion. Special rules wise, because the Sun Killers got the can't feel no pains and shrouded, which I felt was more appropriate for the Iron Havocs. Whereas precision shots to me feels more like an Emperor's Trojan kind of thing. But that's just me being salty and bitter, as is tradition.
I can see that change.
But the unit's great. I would love a 5-man heavy bolter squad. Is such an easy thing just throw in to your list. Like, all right, I got 130 points spare. Throw in, the Artificer armor because you have to. The Augury scanner because of course you're going to. And just sit it somewhere and then just light up the field. Pick a unit and pin it every turn.
Yeah.
Or try to pin it at least.
True, but I mean, with the precision shots, you have a better chance because you can try to pick out the sergeant. You lower them by 1. That's greatly increasing your odds.
Absolutely.
They are very cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Dan, you wanted to talk about the giant tank?
Yeah, I'll take part of it. So, the big reason because I did a little. So this is basically a shadow sword for 50 more points, and a couple more things, obviously. So, and I'm going to say right now ahead of time, it is absolutely fucking worth the 50 extra points. Like if you're gonna take a Lord of War, take this. Although I didn't do the math on what point you need. What is it?
25.
Is it 20%?
Times by four,
It's
25%.
4 times. It's 4 times this. So you need a 3,600 point game minimum to feel
so yeah,
this.
if you're playing a 3,006, you ought like this. I'm not gonna say it's auto take, but please, it's just so good. So anyway, like I said before, it's a shadow sword. One of the major differences automatically off the shadow sword is that one is ballistic skill 5. 2 has a transport capacity. In fact, it has a transport capacity of 24, which is higher than the other super heavy transport that has a transport capacity. The Stormlord, which can only carry 10. So that's one major difference there. That it carries 24 and a ballistic skill 5, which is already good. It still has the turret mounted volcano cannon. All right. It still has the hull front mounted twin linked heavy bolter. It's still now. This is where it completely changes. It has a hull left mounted las cannon, hull left mounted twin linked heavy bolter, hull right mounted las cannon, hull right twin linked heavy bolter. So those are actually the same. Actually, I don't know why they changed the word. Actually, sorry about that. That's exactly the same. Smoke launchers, searchlight, smoke launchers. Oh, searchlight. So actually, it's
Hey.
No, you don't have to pay for the searchlight. You have to pay for it on the other one.
I know that 1 point makes all the difference.
Points on those
5
anymore,
points.
Like 5s. It's more expensive now.
It's 5 points. So actually, you're saving 55 points. Ooh. Okay. The other major difference, besides this having a transport capacity, is the fact that this has a void shield, which is massive. Remember, a void shield is basically a free armor 12 wound that can come back. Basically, they have to glance or penetrate it it'll absorb a hit. And then the fact that it has torment, which basically it's the dedicated transport for Perturabo. So basically, fun fact: you have to take Perturabo and this. So it's even higher than the 3,600 point game.
Well, you don't know. You can take this by itself.
I mean, you could just take this alone,
you
can't
don't
you?
have to put.
You could take this alone.
You can take it alone.
Okay.
Take it, and when you take it, you don't have to take him.
Okay, put Perturabo in the casual 6,000 point game. But no, yeah, this is a really good vehicle. It's a ballistic skill 5. It's got transport capacity. You could stick 24 fucking Space Marines in there if you want.
Or I just checked. This has the transport based special rule. It can transport dreadnoughts and automata.
Oh, so we were okay. That's where
Yes.
We were trying to figure this out.
Dreadnought, yeah, this is something we spent 10 minutes before we started trying to figure this out. I finally found it.
Thank you.
So each dreadnought counts as 10 models.
Okay.
Automata and cavalry, so you could put bikes in here for some reason, can use up twice their starting wounds. So each
automata would be what, 10?
Each hammer bro is 10. Yeah. So you fit 2 of these guys plus Perturabo in there.
I mean, I can't say much about it. It's a fucking amazing vehicle.
Points. It better be pretty good.
Yes, it's also 900 points. You can't fit it unless you're playing 3,600 points. But you're playing a 4,000 point game.
If you want to
amazing
run
vehicle,
both, it is a minimum 5,300 point game.
Hold on, I should point out, by the way, it is a shadow sword.
I know.
By the way,
so you have to own.
There's nothing special technically about. Shadow sword. Is it like 150 from GW? Hold on. It's. I know it's the Baneblade kit.
And add a transport capacity, and that's the. Part
because you would just you move the shadow sword part up. Because I remember building a Baneblade. So you take the shadow sword part instead of putting it on the back half of the tank. You instead move it to the front half of the tank, and then you add the storm.
Fill in.
No. You just fill. You put the storm. What the fuck is it called? And it's not a storm blade.
Stormlord.
Stormlord. You put the Stormlord in the back piece. I'm looking at Games Workshop to see if it allows the storm. Although here's the weird part: the picture doesn't show anything but the Baneblade. So I guess they took away the fact that what? No.
It makes the various options.
No, but I thought the kit's only showing the Baneblade.
It was a few kits though.
Unless I'm like
for all of them at one point. It might be now. You'd probably have to look at. You'd have to read about it. Is all.
Yeah, let me just do high-low. Oh, there it is, Shadow Sword. Hello, Shadow Sword. So what can the Shadow Sword build? I can build The Bane Blade, the Hell Hammer, the Bane Sword, the Storm Sword, the Bane Hammer, the Dude. It builds all of them. So what was the one it was, Steve? It was the what? Stormlord.
That's the bolter one.
And give me a second. Storm Sword. Yes, Stormlord. So yeah, you put the Volcano Cannon to the front. Because the problem is the Volcano Cannon is stuck to the back. So you move that up to the front. I remember seeing this on YouTube, by the way. Some guy, I wish I could have remembered. There's like a special name for it, but someone actually magnetized all the variants of the Bane Blade and he showed how to do it. Octoblade, thank you. Oh my god, you remember. It's called the Octoblade. If you look it on YouTube, it's very simple. It's called the Octoblade, and he shows you how to magnetize it. But essentially, he does the Tormentor variant, which is you move that volcano gun up to the first half of the Bane Blade, and then you put the Bay in the back, and it works perfectly. That's what Brett did. One of our friends, Brett, who plays Iron Warriors, did exactly that, and it literally works exactly the way you want it to.
Well, the one downside of this tank is that you cannot upgrade the heavy bolters because it's a unique model, which means it cannot take any upgrades that are not listed on the profile. So no pinning heavy bolters.
BS5 Volcano Cannon. You'll be fine. A BS5 Volcano Cannon. You are 1,000 and a void shield.
I have never run this model, but it is
transport capacity. For 50 points, you get a void shield. I'll take that shit. Like fuck. I don't even give a shit about the transport capacity. It's a BS5 with a void shield.
Tormentor is a great way to show that all the Bane Blades are way overpriced in this document. It's like, look, you get a void shield and transport capacity for 50 points.
I 1,000% agree. Like, I'm comparing this to the Shadow Sword, and I'm like, why the fuck would I ever take why? If I have the extra, we're playing a big, because a Shadow Sword's 850, so that requires a 3,400 point game?
I think they wanted to price all the Bane Blades out of a 2,000 point game and push them to 3,000 in bigger games. Yeah, I think that's why they did it.
2,000 points.
They didn't scale the stats to correlate with that. Yeah, they gained hull points, but they didn't really gain.
Oh, no, 12 hull points is still 12 hull points is still.
They were 9 last edition. They were 9. They're now 12. That's 1 extra penetrating hit, 2 extra penetrating hits they could take.
Okay.
They also lost some armor value in the front.
They weren't. You're right. They were armor 14 in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's just it's a good. If you're playing a big game, don't take a Shadow Sword. Take a Tormentor. If you're playing Iron Wars. All right.
This counts as a named character for anybody wondering in terms of event restrictions. It's a unique unit. It's a named character. This is just as named as Brayarth Ashmantle is.
All right. How many? They got a lot of special characters.
But they're the only special characters they have. So
3. All right. Exactly. 1 for each.
Yeah.
Anyone have a specific?
These are really fast. These are really fast.
You'll do what?
I'll do Narik. Actually, I'll do Narik actually because it's got the hard A on the triangle.
The dreygur.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take dreygur.
Which one to do, Steve? This is your Legion, so I want to give you first choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll do golg. It's straightforward. So Erasmus golg, he is a Praetor in stats. See his stats. He's literally a Praetor stat line. He gets a Combi Melta, a special chain fist called Extricator, Cataphractii Terminator, a Nuncio Vox, and an Augury Scanner.
Okay.
As a Cataphractii, he's heavy. Masters of the Legion, different character, relentless, stubborn, that's fun. Bulky, Hammer of Wrath 2, because he's so into body slamming people. That was the thing in last edition 2, I believe. And Bloody Handed as the Warlord trait. So he just gets that one by default from the generic lineup of Warlord traits. Okay. Extricator, it's a chain fist, but it's always strength 10, AP 2, melee, armor bane, and melee. Mastercraft, it's your roll miss, and unwieldy. Okay. It's a stronger mastercrafted chain fist. Really straightforward. 175 points, I don't think is bad. I think the downside of this guy is 1. He does not count as a warsmith, which he should. And 2, he has a locked-in warlord trait.
Although you don't have to take him as a warlord, and I'm glad so that way you can
You
make
don't
your
have
own
to, but
warsmith.
yeah.
Make your own warsmith. I will say, actually, I want to point out because me and Dave actually found this before. I think he's worth the points because he's mastercrafted. You can't mastercraft weapons on a cataphracti or Tartarus Praetor. We were figuring this out before.
He's
in the
cool.
store.
I think he's points efficient.
How much is a
135.
Tartarus? Sorry, cataphracti.
They're
I
135
actually don't
base.
know. They're all
130.
They can't
135
normally
piece.
take the Nunziovox and
Okay.
Augury Scanner, but for most units, those are 10-point upgrades each.
It's 10 points.
So he's pretty much like normally priced out. Yeah. Maybe he has like a slight pricing edge.
Oh yeah, and he's got Combi Melta, which
He's all right.
Most of the Hammer of Wrath. Yeah.
He lost stuff from the last edition though. Last edition he was able to make Legion Terminators into troops choices. Just by being in the army.
So
which
you
is
never
really nice. Which is why a lot of people ran him, because you could do a fake Pride of the Legion
for
with
those who
other
don't
rights
have
of
their
war.
books in front of them.
Okay.
Bloody Handed, the Warlord
cool.
trait. It's any combat with these one friendly model within 12 inches of the Warlord, or the Warlord's combat itself. You get +1 to number of wounds for the purposes of combat res. So essentially, it counts like a banner. And then you get an additional reaction in the assault phase. Because I did not know what that meant.
Okay.
I honestly haven't really looked at the base Warlord traits much. So I wanted to say that in case someone else was listening.
Okay. No, that was good. All right. Narik Dreygur. I think he's
hold
also
up. One thing before we move on.
Go.
I just realized this fucker does not say traitor. It should, but it doesn't. That's weird. That's fucking.
Well, but here's the thing.
They probably forgot it. To be honest, the next one says loyalist.
And so is the last one, which means there's only a single traitor-only thing in the Legion, and that is Perturabo himself.
Oh yeah, he's listed as traitor. Okay.
Yeah, literally, even the Tormentor can be taken by loyalists. The only thing in the entire Legion that's traitor only is Perturabo himself.
That's weird.
God damn.
So Narik Dreygur looks like a standard, not a Praetor, a Centurion stat line. What is it? 5-5-4-4-3-5-3-9 is a Centurion. Yeah,
Centurion with an extra wound.
Yeah, Centurions are 2 wounds.
Centurion's only 2 wounds?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he's got a mastercrafted bolt pistol, the Graviton Gauntlet. That's a Mechanicum weapon. Good. I can preview that as well. Artificer, exactly. I'm like, oh, look at all these Mechanicum weapons that are secretly being told to me. Artificer Armor, Refractor Field, the grenades, Frag and Crack, Cortex Controller, and a Cortex Designator. Not sure what the Designator is, but that's going to have rules. He's Master of Automata, so he can take Automata. He's Legionis Cybernetica, which doesn't have an actual rule at a quick glance down here. So does that mean...
Did you know what this guy did?
Yeah, what is that? Whatever. He's the Revenant's Pawn. No, I did not. That's really weird. That's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row. Yeah. Like the fact that his name was Narik the Dreygur.
Legionis Cybernetica only shows up in this document. Only shows up here.
It's the Legion. Yeah. It's the Legion Praevian special rule. It allows him to be a unit with a single Castellax or Vorax man.
Oh, perfect. And we don't even know what Castellax or Vorax are until Mechanicum get released.
He's a special Praevian.
Okay.
Which means nothing until that book drops.
I mean, we kind of released. I mean, like we said, the rules are pretty much not finalized, but like 90%. So, Cortex Designator. When rolling to hit for a model with the Automata unit type as part of a shooting attack, add +1 to the result of the roll if the enemy unit targeted by the attack has already been a target of another friendly model with a special roll in the same shooting phase, and if the attacking model is within 6 inches of the friendly unit. This does not affect attacks made with the blast or barrage special rolls. Okay, so he's got... Okay, that's good. I don't mind that at all.
So basically, he has a laser pointer for all the other robots.
I mean, the other one has to be 6 inches from that friendly model, but I mean, it's not bad. +1 hit, especially with automatas that hit on usually ballistic skill 4, as we saw. Now becoming basically hitting on 2s. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. Cough, cough. Give him like photon thrusters. Hitting on 2s. Get the fuck out of here. Ugh, a bit good. Ew. Graviton Gauntlet. This is a melee weapon, strength 8, AP 2, melee, unwieldy, specialist weapon, and haywire. All right, so it's a power fist with haywire. Power fists are still specialist, right? Yes.
Yep.
Chain fists are not. Power fists are. Yeah, it's a power fist with haywire. Okay. And the Revenant's Pawn, when including an allied attachment that is part of a primary detachment whose warlord is either Cassian Dracos Reborn or Xiphus Jur. I do believe. Wait, these guys are the ones who survived.
Those are both from this document. Yes.
Yes.
This
okay.
is
That's
the Shattered Legions. This is a fluffy rule. Basically,
so
he's running a Shattered Legions army.
Cassian Dracos is Salamanders, right? And Xiphus Jur is White Scars.
Cassian Dracos is the Dreadnought, and I don't know
Xiphus Jur. Is Xiphus? Hold on. This is a quick Google. Give me a sec. Well, anyway, let me Google this while I read it. The allied attachment that he's a part of does not use up a force organization choice and does not count to the minimum requirement unit that the army will select. In addition, you gain +1 attack and the stubborn special rule if you're within 12 inches of Cassian Dracos.
Salamanders.
So, I mean, I don't want to talk about Cassian Dracos.
Yeah, Salamanders.
Oh, he's also Salamanders. Yeah, I just Googled it. I don't want to like go to them, but I guess Cassian Dracos is a really cool model. I don't know. Is he in this?
The rules are horrendous.
Oh, really? Oh, that's...
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
300 points for a normal, not even a Contemptor Dreadnought.
Cassian Dracos Reborn 69. Just gonna take a quick peek at his rules. Just give me 5 seconds.
So what's funny is this guy should not have the Loyalist rule, because for the first bit of the war he was a traitor, and he later defects to the Loyalist side after an undisclosed interaction between himself and the Salamanders. There's lots of rumors about it. Some people say that he was just convinced that he was on the wrong side of history. Some people say that they were actually able to hack him through his cybernetic upgrades, since Salamanders are really good at technology too.
So real quick, I'm going to point out, I know you kind of made fun of him for being 310 points.
He's terrible.
He can heal himself 2 wounds a turn. Because he doesn't have the limit. Remember that one cybernetic machine, I think it was Dark Angels, that had the limit of what it can do? It can't cast the power, but it has the weapon. This one has Artificium Machina. So he can actually heal himself twice a turn.
But that doesn't mean anything to me until that book comes out, Dan.
Very true. Yeah, yes. Playtest rules, he can do that.
Yeah.
But he's not, I mean, I'm not going to say he's worth 310 points, but like...
He's just...
We'll talk about it when we get to Salamanders.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
So I'll get to the last one here. Let me put my little timestamp to make my life easier. Okay, so Caravalen. We said weapon skill 6, 5, 4 across the board, initiative 5. So Praetor looking stat line actually. Carries a Volkite Charger. So actually, if you want to use this guy, the base ones they have actually do work. And Aegeus. His artificial armor and halo. He's got his grenades. He's actually got melta bombs on him. Server arm and a Cortex controller. Much like a Praetor, he has Master of the Legion, so he'll let you take rights of war and all. He's a Master of Automata. Battle Hardened 1. What does Battle Hardened do? That's...
Battle Hardened 1. It means that for the purposes of
toughness is higher for purposes of instant death. Yeah. Battlesmith, he's 3 up. He's got 6 up, feel no pain. He is loyal as well. And he has his set Warlord trait. So his Warlord trait is Battle Logistician. When this Warlord trait is selected, before deployment and before any models are placed on the board, the controlling player may select a single unit of any type that begins the game deployed on the table. Whilst all models that are part of the selected unit are within the controlling player's deployment zone, this unit gains the Relentless special rule. In addition, an army whose Warlord has this trait makes an additional reaction in the opposing player's movement phase. So you can choose one of your units to be relentless, which means you can
Ooh,
choose it
that
on that
sounds-
heavy weapon squad, who now can be moving around or repositioning as needed and still get to fire just
Exactly.
fine. That's very
Yeah,
useful,
that's
especially because
a good
you
warlord
get to
trait.
you selected well ahead of time. You can figure out what unit you want. For the Aegeus, it's a power weapon, strength +2, AP 3. It's melee, breaching on a 4-up, causes blind, and it is master crafted. So
Oh,
that is pretty good. So
okay.
he's quite a bit more than a normal Praetor,
The blind
but
makes
he
that weapon
does get
really
a
good.
lot of special rules. So this is someone who you're taking if, like I said, he's master of automata. So you're taking him if you want to go that kind of route. If you're going to be carrying a lot of things, he also has the battlesmith and all of that. But otherwise, he's good, and his warlord trait is nice.
Yeah, and that weapon is really nice. Blind with breaching means like if you breach someone,
Yeah, just
kill them, and they take the blind. Oh no, you just have to hit someone. Never mind. Oh, it's a really good. Stupid question, Steve. Did we ever figure out that server arm
Yeah.
is +1 to
No, it's
battlesmith?
not
Yep.
+1. It's not
So
+1.
Machinator Ray is the only one. Okay, so still
Yep.
heal a wound of 3 at the top.
Once again, Kier Valen should be a warsmith, but there's no rule
Yes.
indicating that he
They
is.
didn't do that. They just gave him pretty much everything
But yeah.
else.
But he is a
No, he's
loyalist.
cool.
Yes.
Oh, here he is a
Yes.
loyalist, though, Steve. Right?
Yeah.
We're not angry.
He
at
is
the
a loyalist through and through.
Okay.
He doesn't
Okay.
change sides, but he should be a warsmith.
Well,
like
from Warsmith,
Gold
okay.
should
he's
be a
not missing
warsmith.
much from Warsmith because he's got his servo arm.
No, but what he's
Okay.
missing is the right of war. He doesn't unlock the
True, but he at least does
Hammer
unlock
Olympia
a
right of
right of war for
Okay.
you because
still
he
a Praetor.
does. He is a Praetor. Yeah, yeah.
He's master.
Yeah,
He's
Master of
master of the Legion. But
and
All right,
yeah,
that's it. That was actually. I feel. Did we go?
did.
I
It
think we
was
spent a little less
about
time on this
2
one.
hours
No?
and 20 minutes.
Am I crazy?
including big rules debates.
Yeah. I feel like Emperor's
No,
Children
they
had
had more.
less models,
When
but
you
we
actually
spent
if you
more
break
time.
it down, I want to
That's
say
so
they
weird.
had more.
Oh, they had more. Okay. Okay.
Or at least more things of interest. I'd have to count to be sure to compare, but I think they actually had a little bit more. Not by much, and nowhere near Dark Angels, but a little bit more. And some of the stuff was a little more straightforward. Some of these characters at the end were very much what you see is what you get with these boys.
Yeah, the Iron Warriors are a very straightforward Legion.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, and I was gonna say,
Yes.
my overall
This is a
comments.
Praetor. His sword is special. Next.
Exactly. And I was gonna say my overall comments on the Legion is I like them. Like I said, I despise the fact that everyone runs them in at least in the tri-state area. And
it's okay because as you can see, there are no sworn traitors.
Yeah,
for the Iron
apparently,
Warriors.
Jesus Christ. So that does slightly annoy me. I do kind of hate it when I like see the same army over and over again, despite it being multiple different models. But that being said, it's a really cool army. Like, I ain't gonna shit on someone because it's a really fucking cool army. The Legion rule is pretty solid. The advanced reaction's pretty solid. The special characters that they finally released are pretty great. I really like Kier. I mean, what's his name? Kier. Yeah, I like Kier Valen a lot.
He's a fan favorite. People fucking love him.
Oh well, I mean, just alone that melee weapon is.
They've loved him
really
since
good.
Book 3 released in a long time ago.
Like
There's
that
part of the reason why we are all so salty.
Yes.
Can he stick himself with a? Yeah, he's got a Cortex controller. So yeah, you stick him with a fucking what are they called?
He can't join a robot unit.
Yeah, join a robot unit.
No, he can't join them. But he allows you to bring them.
Oh, that's weird because Cortex controller allowed you to what? So what allows you to join them?
The rule that Dreygur had.
Oh, Legionis Cybernetica. Okay.
Yeah,
they split that rule up. All right, I didn't know that. All right. Overall, I like the units are good. The special unit is good. The Legion rules are good. The war gear is good. This is an overall good Legion.
Because you get, again, hazard striping. Although I will admit, hazard striping is not too bad if you learn good ways to do it. If this is the Legion you want, you can look up some really good tutorials to teach you how to do hazard stripes. I'm not going to say easy, but reasonably easy where you can feel you can get the effect and you can make it look good. Other than that, their paint scheme has an overall very nice and easy look if you want it to be that. Their Legion rule is nice and simple. Their units, even their special units, are pretty straightforward with what they do. If you're taking havocs, you have an idea of what they're going to do. If you're taking the other things, you know what they're going to do. So you're not going to have to worry about a lot of what I would say are very tough decisions. You still have to be tactical and all, but you should have an idea of, oh, this thing, yeah, this is what it's going to do. This is what this other thing's going to do for me. So I think of the ones we've went through so far, they feel at least the most maybe forgiving is a good way to put it, both in terms of paint and play.
Yeah.
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 Direct. They're the most direct.
All right.
No, I agree. They're not a bad like I said.
I'm gonna say that I think this is probably the best Legion there is, and everyone else should just give up now because really the sport is built around us.
I'm still for Alpha Legion, man.
So
I
is that why you
love the
sold
Alpha.
the Alpha
I think the
Legion?
Alpha Legion is the trickiest. Like, well, no, because I wanted more Mechanicum. Let's be honest.
Everything that's
Mechanicum for
not
life.
the
And
armies
Custodes.
that you people can play right now.
And demons.
No.
True. But listen, can we be honest? Mechanicum is some of the most beautiful models in the range.
I will agree with you.
Like Myrmidons are just
yeah. Too bad you can't use them.
Custodes.
The
Galatis is the sexiest Contemptor there is. Oh, listen,
honestly,
I'll wait. I got sexy units.
Will look enticing when they're in plastic. I have no interest in dealing with all that resin.
So again, as the leak, and it's the same leaker every single time. Unless he got fired, we don't know. But that leaker has already said that they've been looking at it was Thalax, Ursarax, Castellax, and I don't remember if they said Vorak. I don't think it was Vorax or plastic. But basically, there's a major three: the Ursarax, which are the double claws, the Thalax, which is your main basic 40 mil troop with it's got a lightning gun on it, and the Castellax, which is the robot. That they're going plastic. Which is why I didn't order them. I ordered some Myrmidons because I love the way Myrmidons look. And if they keep that Rite of War, for the first time ever, I might not actually just run big robots. I might run Myrmidons. Just because they think they look cooler.
Plastic, and I'll entertain it.
Yeah.
Although I still got plenty of other stuff to work on.
Well, even so, if you want to take an alliance or take an ally, take an ally detachment, or take a what are they called? Praevian? I always forget their goddamn name.
Praevian.
They take a Praevian. And they take a small unit of photon thrusters so you can AP2 and blind.
On our video for Dark Angel, because we were talking about their special the Incendio. What was he?
The Incendio.
Can't remember for the life of me what he said his plan to use for it was. But I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good plan. I like the idea of that.
Give me 5 seconds. I got it. The problem is I have 123 subscriptions.
I got
so I have to scroll down and find us.
Oh, the airdrop. That's what he said. Using one of those, you can change out the arms a little bit and all, and it kind of has that sort of look to it. And I was like, well, I do have 2 of those boys coming in. That's something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
I do have a pair of those. Mostly, honestly, I got the pair because I wanted the other weapons, and I wanted the option.
I'm still trying to figure out what size it's supposed to be to me. Because to me, the stat line screams Thanatar, or at least close to a Thanatar. But weapons scream Castellax. It's weird.
Anywhere from a 60 mil base to the 120 oval, I feel is appropriate.
That's a good, no, I agree.
The 60 and 80, 100, or the 120 oval.
Oh, what's funny is you literally
anything in that I think makes sense.
You referenced a Castellax and also a Thanatar, so that didn't help.
Yes, that's I did.
Anywhere,
you didn't help my fucking question.
Is appropriate. They didn't tell you, so you pick something that makes sense. It honestly, a lot of it probably depends on what model you use. Depending on what you use is going to depend on the base size you need. Because if you use something that's bigger, something closer to a Thanatar, you're going to need a bigger base. So,
yeah.
You could use a freaking Death Dread and be like, this is the model. Oh, well, Death Dread's on a 60 mil, so... Yeah.
I think
closing
lots of variety there.
Thoughts for them.
Best Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Best
Really.
Legion, hands down.
Shut up.
We can wrap up the series right
I'll
here.
just,
Best
listen, I'm just
Legion.
gonna paint another fucking 3 tanks while you deploy again. I'm gonna finish painting
Dan,
3 tanks.
listen, Dan. When there are plastic castellax, my toilet goes so much faster because I'm going to be taking so many of those things.
Oh my god,
I just, yeah.
I'm really hoping they become Weapon Skill 4. I'm really hoping they're still Weapon Skill 3 because that's gonna really, really, really suck. Because they lost their AP too. They lost their monstrous creature essentially. So I'm hoping that they at least stay weapons or get to Weapon Skill 4 because that's gonna really, really. That's one of the biggest painful things. In my
so I
opinion.
think that does it for us tonight. And then
Anyway,
next one's up
Closing.
is White Scars. So that's what we have to look forward to. And one of these weeks we'll have to get back to discussing other stuff. But we need either for how long this takes us, we probably need a separate sort of session for that. So, and that'll do it for us tonight. For next week, the plan is to continue this deep dive into the Legion, so going through White Scars. Ideally, also, I'd like to get another recording out so we can kind of go back through some of the things that we've been neglecting over the last few weeks, including hobby games played and just maybe a more overall discussion of what we've been thinking and our thoughts related to both Heresy and potentially anything else we've been playing. I know at least on my part, and I think a lot of ours, that's kind of what we've been into. The hope is maybe in the next couple of weeks we can start branching back into some of the other games that we play. Well, on behalf of everyone here at the show, have some good hobbying and some great gaming.